But like if it was a real issue, I feel like we should tackle it like a real issue. So like some kind of
I think I think one of the issues is that uh one of the issues is that people can't even articulate why illegal immigrants are a problem, right? Um, because it feels like people aren't really actually telling the truth when it comes to illegal immigration. What it feels like is that like what they tell you is, well, we just want people to come into the country fairly, because how useful is it for me, like how unfair is it for me to go through all this immigration process for someone to be born here to have their jobs being taken by a bunch of illegal immigrants, right? Well, if you actually do think about it, right, well, are they actually taking your jobs? Like, I mean, are you working as a janitor? Are you working as a street cleaner? Are you like contributing taxes like they do as well, right? Like, how replaceable are they, and how replaceable are you, right? Um, it certainly doesn't help when someone says that they're from a upper echelon of society and they are just basically saying, "Oh yeah, they're coming to take my job." But what? You're telling me some kind of like random Mexican immigrant is going to take your white collar job, right? So yeah, like typically that just doesn't really make much sense to me. In addition, right, like if you want to talk about the death of the steel industry or something, right, and they're coming to take your, steel worker jobs, right? Okay, sure, that is something that you're fighting for. But at the same time, it is the case overall across the entire United States that manufacturing is gently being phased out in place of the service industry, right? The United States no longer has a manufacturing based economy. It has a service based economy. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, right? You want to have the good problems. You don't want the bad problems, right? And besides, these are really dangerous jobs in the first place, right? So the thing is, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not telling people to go learn to code, but I'm just saying that, this is a very dead industry, like at this point already, right? Yeah, I don't know. Um, I guess another thing is um, people don't know the truth about immigrants, right? How many immigrants in the United States, um, like, I bet, again, I have to say this again, right? How much taxes do immigrants pay, right? Because people love saying how illegal immigrants and undocumented immigrants do not pay any taxes. Well, is that actually true? Because the last time I Googled it, which is yesterday, okay, in 2024 or 2023, I forgot which year, it doesn't really matter, they always pay around 96 million to, sorry, 90, not 96 million, forget about that, $96 billion, $96 billion in taxes overall in the United States to local, federal, and state, right? All of them in totality is around 96, 97 billion dollars, right? Undocumented immigrants, okay? They contribute more than 16 million dollars to your grandmother's and your grandfather's social security fund, okay? To your mother, your father's social security fund, okay? And don't you think that the erosion of principles is an important factor to consider if you are going to deport people? Like, yeah, I don't know, like this is such a brain dead issue to me, what exactly is the issue of Haitians in general? Why focus so much on Haitians, right? Is it just because they're Haitian? Like, is it because it's such an exotic place? Like what is going on here, right? I don't know.
comprehensive like legislative package that gives you the ability to put more judges out to kind of like make more rulings on things rather than like this broad, he has like an EO to close the border and supposedly there've been no absolutely zero crossings, but we haven't done anything to get supposedly the 25 million people.
We do need some manufacturing, but automation has reduced those jobs. Sure, I'm just saying that like manufacturing is being phased out pretty fast at this rate, right? Although to be honest, I don't know about recent. Nah, no, it's still being phased out because Donald Trump promised to bring manufacturing back, but like his policies and his executive orders and his tariffs, if anything else, have quickened its death, right? He has quickened the death of manufacturing jobs. So he's certainly not helping, you know what I mean? But yeah. Also, hi, Kev. Hello.
Here out, but then
Right.
nobody's talking about it anymore.
Stop
I don't hear
cheating in
anybody talking about it anymore. It's
Borderlands.
like, so was it
I'm
not that
kidding.
big of a problem, or what am I supposed to think
Well,
about
I think
that?
it's not a problem because nobody's coming across right now because he shut it down.
More
But I
likely
do
to
think
be
it's been 100 days.
abused, or-
Hopefully, they put some legislation together. Obviously, it's going to be a failure if they don't, and that'll be on Republicans, right? But
Do you think that, like,
everybody-
what about like the 25 million or whatever that are supposedly here?
But Democrats are saying it wasn't a problem. Trump couldn't do it. Trump couldn't fix it. He did it, and then they just flip and start calling him racist. And so he doubles down, and now we got people getting rounded up at Home Depot. Like, it's the Democrats started this problem, allowed it to foster. Then Trump fixed it, and then they egg him on. They push his buttons, just like what happened to you on Piers Morgan. Like, you just set up, and of course you're gonna just like lash back out. Like, it's not a rational emotion, but you're trapped. So that's what Trump does.
This
Same
is just
thing
a
he did.
regular
Like, it's
guy.
not practical.
Well, one, Trump is the president of the United States of America, so he's got plenty of people
But he's
around
still
him.
human.
What?
He's still human, and like, of course, we know who he is. He's gonna react and say stupid crap. Like, if you go
He's
to him.
human, but like, if I was like in surgery and the doctor passed out because he saw my open body, I would, well, he's just human. It's like, well, no, he's a doctor. He should be ready to handle this job. The president of the United States, you've got a whole cabinet full of people, you've got advisors, you've got whole branches that are dedicated to helping you figure out what you should do. The issue I have is that, like, yeah, if there are 25 million people here, why, like, what am I supposed to think? I'm on this end, and I've heard this is a huge problem, it's a huge problem, it's a huge problem, and then
There might
nobody's
not be
talking
a
about
problem
it.
with 25 million people here, but acknowledge that it did happen, and let's address it in like a non, like, you're racist type of way. You know, like, say, okay, let's get a pathway, or let's get them jobs, or get them green
Yeah, but
cards.
like, what has Trump proposed?
Well, how's he going to propose anything when the Democrats won't even acknowledge it was an issue, and that he just lies and makes up numbers,
Well,
and there's not even an issue?
I think the Democrats acknowledged it was an issue. There was legislation that Biden tried to have pushed through at the end of his presidency, but Trump didn't want it to get through.
That's not good faith. You admit that, right? Like,
Wait, why?
Finally, at the very end,
Why is
when
that
Biden's
not
polls
good
are dropping,
faith?
he throws out some legislation, doubles the amount of people that can come in, and then says
That wouldn't double the amount, but also, like, is somebody doing something in response to their polls dropping, like, isn't that the point? They're politicians, they're supposed to get elected. If the people want a thing and the polls are showing it, then you would hope that they would do that
to
thing,
then
right?
use it against Trump, like, oh, he doesn't care about the border. Like, that's just disingenuous in my view.
Well, I think it would be disingenuous if that legislation died because Trump said it would, and then once Trump came into office, then he passed it, but he didn't. Like, my prediction is by the end of the four-year term.
Because it called for almost double the numbers of what we agreed that should come in the first place.
No, I don't think that's how that
Well,
works.
you know the numbers better. I'm not like, but tell me. So how many are we allowed in every month right now?
Sure. So the well, illegal
Without
immigrants,
a
the number
salary.
allowed into zero, right? You're not supposed
yeah,
to have any.
illegal, but
But
legally-
what they were going to do is they had it so that if the average, I don't remember the numbers of this, but I think it was like if it averaged out to over like 5,000 a day or something like that, it let them put like a moratorium to zero it out for like 2 weeks. Basically, if the numbers exceeded a certain amount, they could say no more for 2 weeks. We're allowed to like literally reject everybody. But people took that like 5,000 a day number and they were saying like, oh, they're making it so you can have 1.5 million illegal immigrants coming in every single year now because of the new numbers. But that wasn't
Which
really
right
how
now
it
it's like 400,000 or something, right? It's allowed in something like that.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you count like illegal crossings versus like asylum seekers who are maybe abusing the process. Like, it's hard to count it exactly. But I mean, if you believe Trump, he said, like, do you believe the number's actually been zero for the last 2 months?
I mean, not zero, but I mean,
That's what he
I
says,
don't
though,
think,
right? It's absolute zero. Do you think the crime in DC is zero?
I think he's sending people back and he's catching them at the border and not letting them in, which I mean, might be unconstitutional to your point, but not if we have a crisis.
Do you think Biden wasn't enforcing the border like at all?
No, well, I mean, not really. I mean, I think I think the Border Patrol was so overwhelmed, they were helping process people throughout the country and getting them settled and getting the kids taken care of. Like, they did lose track of 300,000 kids.
I feel like this is a fundamental difference in principles here because he just admitted that he's willing to forsake the Constitution so then you can deport more people, right? I feel like I can't agree with that, but I just couldn't find any way to square the circle here, right? Because I would say that it's better to live with the problem than to solve it using a solution that violates the Constitution so blatantly. I guess this is also part of the problem with the Trump regime, right? The followers are so mind-bought into like, oh, solving an issue no matter what, that they're willing to forsake rules and norms of this country, right? Which is why we have the double standards in general. But yeah, I don't know. Because he just admitted that Trump does in fact violate the Constitution, but it doesn't seem like he's too bothered by it, you know? I don't know. But yeah.
Kids. Like, those kids got shuffled off to another agency.
That's
That agency couldn't
disturbing
track
to me,
them.
okay?
Border Patrol
That
couldn't
is
find them when
actually
they had to
what's
go do their welfare
disturbing to
checks
me.
like a year later.
Like, if there's any one way to realize that the problem, like the poison, has truly took its root, it's to realize that these people just openly admit that Trump is like disobeying the rules, breaking the rules, and they're perfectly fine with it, right? Yeah, I think that is the sign of a collapsing country or something, right? When people recognize, when the masses recognize that he is blatantly breaking the laws and blatantly breaking the rules, but they just don't give a fuck, right? If anything, that should be the biggest red flag ever. But you know, it is what it is. This would be better content if it was outside and I feared for Tiny's life. That we can't lose him, okay?
And so I'm sure they're not all trafficked kids, but nobody knows where the hell these 300,000 kids are.
So the 300,000 kid number, I don't think is exactly accurate. The way that it's portrayed is that 300,000 children were lost.
Right.
But I don't remember the exact. It's been a
They're
long
not
time
lost,
since-
but they can't actually follow up with them to do their welfare check. The Border Patrol can't. So the other
Okay, so
agency...
the question would be, if at the end of these 4 years, if Trump hasn't done anything comprehensively with the border, would you consider what he's done so far a success? Because according to Trump, 25 million illegals came in. Basically, none of it shipped out.
None of it just opens back up and we're at square one again.
If they're willing to violate this part of the Constitution, what's going to stop them from doing it with something that'll affect you? Oh, they don't care about that. Like, there's multiple times where Asmongold realizes that he's actually hypocritical. Like, he recognizes that he's a hypocrite, right? When it comes to this kind of stuff. Because he argues all the time about double standards. He argues all the time about people applying, your standards to them back, right? He talks about that all the time. But I wonder why he's suddenly okay with it now. Well, he's literally said so. He said that, yeah, Trump is going to break the rules. He is going to do whatever it takes to get you out of our country. And I don't care because it needs to happen. So, like, yeah, like, in my opinion, does it really, again, they don't care about the hypocrisy point, right? Which is why, pointing out the fact that there is a hypocrisy in the first place is not a working strategy. You need to do something edgier. You need to do something that is truly dark, right? Like making edgy jokes and holding a mirror in their face and using Republican and Trumpian tactics, right, against them. Yeah, that's the way.
Okay.
Then no,
Well, no, not opens it up. But even if he keeps it closed and nothing gets passed, if 25 million people
Like
came in,
something
25
new
million,
has
that's a
to
lot
be
of people.
tried.
That's a lot of
right?
people.
Supposedly he says.
Yeah,
So,
I
but
mean,
if nothing happens in 4
I don't
years,
buy into the 25 million number, but whatever. That's fine.
well, what do you think? What does it feel like?
I
that
think
number
10
is?
million people is logical.
Okay, but if Trump doesn't get rid of any of them,
10 million is a lot of people. We don't need to say the 25 million. I mean, Trump says it because he likes to embellish everything.
he likes to lie.
He likes to embellish.
He likes to lie. That's a lie, right?
Yeah, but
If my professor embellishes my grade for me, that's cheating, right?
I'm not going to call him a liar because he might have evidence I don't have. He might really believe there's 25 million.
Does Trump seem like the kind of guy who would hide evidence from the public
I
that
believe 10 million
would
is just a
bolster
belief. I'm not a
They never
liar if
care
it's really
about
25
rights.
million.
They only care
Well, no,
about
but
their
I think
rights. Yep.
it would be reasonable that you wouldn't have access to all the information, but Donald Trump
Exactly.
would, right? I think if he had the information, there's 25 million, I think he'd release it. My issue is that right now, Trump has gone about, even if
I mean, this has always been the meme, right? The meme has always just been, well, they're against abortion until their daughter needs an abortion, right? They don't care about abortion. They're against abortion until their wife needs an abortion, right? And then after the wife or daughter gets an abortion, they're back to being anti-abortion, right? Hypocrisy is not just an action they are recently taking, okay? Hypocrisy is in the very root of their nature, right? This is why Trump is managed to gain so much power. Remember the talk yesterday that I had with North, where I was essentially arguing that the Republicans have always been evil? And the only thing Trump did was to appeal to that inner darkness. I truly do believe that. I think that there is an inner evil, there is an inner hypocrisy that is within the hearts of all these Republicans, right? They don't even know that they have it until Trump starts doing things that they really like. Then they realize that they never liked the principles in the first place, right?
if I was fully bought into,
Like
let's say I was the
clockwork.
most anti-illegal immigrant person ever, Trump is literally doing absolutely nothing except for the executive order closing the border to help me. He's making an enemy
By
out of ICE in
going
every single
eastbound?
state.
Mhm.
He's making an enemy out of all the governors. He hasn't done anything to deport any of the illegals here, really.
Take the
Like, it just seems like he's
back?
just working.
Sure.
There's no immigration
He's being
legislation.
difficult. He's being
Full
difficult.
dark
You
news
can't
scum,
just
okay?
give him the
Let's
credit that
go.
he did shut the border down and stop that
True.
crisis that we were all dealing with for 4 years. Whatever level you think it was, a 1 in your life or a 10, Trump came in there and did that. So it would be nice to hear somebody with your platform say, kudos on Trump, he at least stopped that. Now let's push him to do the responsible thing.
Well, because
And
it's not-
but you just want to hate on him, and that's just more division, more division.
He's a very hateable person. We can't complain about division when he literally causes it with
we
every
don't want
single
to be
speech he
like,
gives.
but why be like him then? Be the opposite of him. Like, be a problem solver. Don't be part of the problem.
I can't solve the problem because Democrats don't control any of the three
You
branches of the
can.
government right now.
You
There's no
can.
Supreme Court,
No, you do
there's
solve
no
the problem
Congress,
because
there's no
you
president.
motivate your base to go out there and change things.
Yeah, we
And
change it
you
by
have-
getting elected, which starts with hating the other party.
See, you hate him too.
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, I think he's breaking the law. I think it's unconstitutional. I
Yeah, but
think he
everybody's
hates-
just criticizing Trump for hating the Democrats, and it's like that gets us nowhere.
I don't criticize Trump. There are
Not
people
just
that
you,
are
not
well,
you,
there
I'm
are
saying-
people that are okay to hate, right?
I don't think you need to hate the other person to win. You just have
You
to
don't
win
need to hate anybody?
You win on better ideas and
Would you
execution.
hate a murderer?
No, you can hate people. That's
Okay.
fine. I'm not saying you can't hate.
But I think Trump conducts
I'm
himself
not
in a
saying you
very
can't
hateable way.
hate Trump, but you shouldn't hate Republicans.
Sorry,
and I feel
I
like
think
you
that
do.
was
You
funny as fuck.
literally go out and you hate Republicans.
Well, because I feel like they're
You shouldn't
engaged in
hate
a
anyone.
project
That's
that's
a-
actively
would you
making
hate
every
a
single part of the country
murderer?
worse.
But they feel the same way against liberals. And
Yeah,
so,
but one of us is
Oh,
in
man.
reality and the other one's
No,
not.
exactly. And so we both think we're in reality. We're all in our own reality.
Well, so here, my prediction is at the end of these 4 years, there will be no immigration legislation. We're not going to talk about illegals basically at all, probably for the rest of Trump's term, except for whatever he does with ICE. And then as soon as the Democrats back in, we're going to hear about the caravans again. We're going to get the videos of the bridges again, and it just doesn't feel like a real issue if nobody's really taking it seriously. You said that he stopped them coming in, and that's great. But like if somebody shoots someone in the stomach, they slap a bandage on him. Like I mean, like they stop the bleeding, but like there's a whole problem there that he's not addressing or doing anything about. I think it's a huge issue.
I think your prediction has pretty good odds, but let's deal with reality right now. So we can both agree he stopped the border.
Sure.
Right. All right. That's it. We're good. We
But
agree on
that's,
something.
but that's not. But he
No.
didn't solve the problem. Isn't the border? The problem is illegal
What?
We
immigration.
can't solve your problem until we find out if he actually does the legislation over the next 4 years, which is not. It has to be in the next year, basically.
Sure. I mean, he didn't do it in his first term, right? He hasn't even talked about it this term.
Well, I know, but we're beating a dead horse at this point. We
Yeah,
know,
Trump doing
we
anything
know
else
he
is-
closed the border, but we don't know if he's going to actually put the stuff down in writing. So let's wait and see. But
Okay. Well, but I mean, like, if he doesn't do anything for the border, then I would say then that Trump was worse on the border than Biden, because Biden had legislation that everybody was ready to pass.
I'll agree with you.
Oh.
Yeah, he was worse because he convinced people to
That he was
support
gonna do
him.
something?
To support him, and so he not only let them down, but he also left the border open. So I'll agree
Okay.
with you. He was worse than Biden if he doesn't get the border resolved.
Okay. I can agree with that.
All right, man. It was nice meeting you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Wow.
All right, that was fun. First debater down. Stephen, I'm gonna ask you a question in between each debater, do you promote
Winter's there?
or have you ever promoted
Really?
political violence?
Fuck me.
When I played League of Legends, I did a lot. That was no, I mean, like, especially somebody
Like, Winter is at the Painburn event. He doesn't have to go that far to have a debate with Steven.
that does events. I don't think political violence is good. I mean, it depends, I guess, on stretching, like, what you mean by promoting. Like, I think that there are, like, I don't like the way this question is phrased. There was a poll that went out recently, and it had to do with, like, would you support violence for political ends, or would you support political violence? And it was after the Charlie Kirk shooting, and I think liberals, I want to say, were at like 25%, and conservatives were at like 3% or something. It was really low. But, like, the way that you phrased that question, I think, is a little interesting, because if you ask a lot of conservatives, like, why do we have a Second Amendment? They'll say, well, that's to fight against, like, a tyrannical government. It's like, well, that sounds like political violence. In that case,
It's
like,
okay,
99%
Winter-
of conservatives would be in
Winter's
favor of it.
enough,
The reality
okay?
is
He's there to
basically
make
close to
us look
100%
good.
people are in favor of political violence. It just depends on
Right,
what the
depends.
government is doing.
So
Right?
This is
Yeah.
why I asked the question, because everyone's, well, I see probably millions of people talking about you, saying that you promote political violence, but I agree with you. I think everyone does. It depends who we're promoting it against. I mean,
Did he actually debate Winter? Not yet, right? Oh my god.
I was promoting political violence against leaders of Hamas, for example, after October 7th or around that time when I found out. So I think there are varying degrees of political violence.
Oh no, Winter is there. It's over, guys. Winter Mew is at... No! Why is he such a debate bro? Why is Winter such a debate bro? What is wrong with you? Yes, he's banned from Discord. Yeah, he is. I'm gonna keep him banned, okay? Too bad. But yeah, there's Winter in the crowd, I guess. Cool.
But I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about the things you say and people twisting them into thinking you
Bro,
are,
nobody
in fact,
cares
promoting
about
political violence
communism,
against
Winter.
those that
Jesus.
talk about ideas that you
Stop.
detest.
Sure,
Is he
yeah, I mean, like,
actually? Yeah.
there's a lot of 30-second clips about me. I always say, like, I don't make
Oh
content
my
in 30 seconds.
God.
But I mean, if you listen long form, and I wouldn't even say you don't have to listen to a video, you just go to my community, you can look. Like, we don't really talk about the revolution or engaging in political violence. Most of the stuff that I talk about is, like, political violence is a result of something is horrendously failing in your democracy, of people having to kill each other over the words that they're saying. And I think that's, like it shows a lot of failures in society, if that's what people are turning to. The one clip that Jesse Waters and everybody ran with recently was me saying that conservatives need to be afraid or whatever
Yeah.
when they go out. The reason why I said that, and I mean, I said it in much of that video, and it applies to everybody. I don't say it about liberals because I think liberals are kind of afraid, is that when people are operating without fear, you do a lot of stupid things, right? When you're like on a meth bender and you're running out into traffic, it's because you think cars can't hurt you. That's not okay.
That's why people kept sending me that clip. I probably received it 500 times, I would say, after that was going around and going viral. And I analyzed it, and I thought you were promoting the idea that you think
Wait, who is... Oh, this is the host of the event. Okay, never mind.
it's good that they are afraid
Yeah,
of
everybody,
a particular
because
thing.
the problem is, like, people, like,
so you were promoting fear,
What kind
not
there's like
not violence.
There's a healthy sense of well, here's what I'll say. People like romanticize a lot the concept of like revolution and civil war and all these things, and they're not like romantic, they're not sexy, they're not fun, and they're not awesome. Like, these are really horrible things to be happening. There's a lot of, I mean, I can't speak from firsthand, but you can look at Ukraine, you can look at Israel, or Gaza. Really, like, these are not fun events to be in, and everybody should be afraid of a reality where like it's just normal to kill each other for political beliefs. Which to some extent over the last 5 years we're kind of sort of, I don't want to say we're at that point, but like we're having a lot of politically oriented or related assassinations. And when I see one side, like when I look at Barack Obama and Biden, all these people are saying like violence is unacceptable. When Biden made his statements after the Trump shooting, and when Biden is increasing Secret Service and security for Trump after Iranian assassination threats and everything, right? It's like, okay, cool. There's a guy who seems like he doesn't want political violence. When I see all the conservatives are spamming like civil war, like all this crazy stuff, on Twitter and everything, I'm like, I don't understand. Like, are you guys like looking forward to this? Like, there should be a healthy amount of apprehension or fear of like us actually descending to that point.
Promoting civil war is promoting violence directly, is it not?
Yeah, but like worse than that, it's like promoting it in like this really childlike, naive, like invincible kind of way. Like, none of us should want that world.
Right.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I agree.
I think she is speaking after this duder. I don't know the whole situation. I'm out getting ice cream with my wife. What do you mean? The fact that you even know Winter Me at all, it surprises me. But yeah.
Okay, well, time for round two.
I wanted to go to the one near me, but decided I usually find these debates boring because debating MAGA is a bit boring. Yeah, it's pretty boring, unfortunately. Yeah. But I mean, it's only interesting when you're watching me, right? Because of my commentary. Okay.
Let's get Mr. Justin Gibbs to the stage. Let's put it together for Mr. Gibbs.
Oh, his name is Justin.
All right.
This is Admiral Gibbs from Wick TV. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, him showing up in person is something that I would expect. Yeah. Yeah. He's a long-standing conservative guy on Wick's panels. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
pretty good.
All right, so I kind of wanted to talk about a topic that's close to me because I feel like most voters vote local.
Okay.
All right, and so it's kind of going to include some of the immigration, some of the tariffs. So I'm a rancher, and Trump is the best president that we've had in the last 70 years for ranchers. What do you have something to say to people like us who are excited about what Trump's doing with the tariffs?
Ranchers that doesn't include like ordinary agriculture. Is that just animal ag or?
Yeah, specifically the cattle. I mean, I'm not a farmer, so I can't speak to that, but I can speak to ranchers.
Sure, because I know he's been horrible for farmers in his first term and right now in this term. The soybean thing that just happened with Venezuela, I think. Was
Well, I
really
mean,
bad.
part of that's also the overregulation with what they've done with alfalfa and they've done with grain. I mean,
No, it was
corn-
Yo, what is this fit? Dude, he should have went up here in a Admiral outfit. Yeah, I mean his entire thing is Admiral Gibbs, right? Where's his Admiral outfit? This is an Admiral outfit.
Trump's tariffs and horrible negotiation skills and getting outplayed completely by China. Yeah.
I mean, well, we can look with ranching due to gestation periods. We can see specifically that over the next 2 years, we're going to have a turn. We're going to go from being the lowest herds that we've ever had to actually starting to be able to grow again and be competitive in the market. And, all these policies that Trump's put forth have been very beneficial to us. The trade deal with the UK specifically being one, some of these other trade deals, cutting out other countries like Paraguay, which was opened up with Biden. I mean, why do y'all hate ranchers?
Why do we hate? Why
Why does the left seem to hate ranchers?
Well, I don't know if the left hates ranchers. Trump hasn't made any trade deals with any countries yet, so I don't know what trade deals you're referring to when you talk about the UK or anybody. All Trump has done is increase the tariffs to basically every country on the planet right now, so I don't know how that's helping.
Well, that's not true. The UK just agreed to get rid of restrictions and match USDA requirements regarding beef, and so they agreed to get rid of the restrictions on how much beef they've included. That's
They
something
might
I
have
know for a
agreed
fact
in
that's
a
happened.
speech, but there hasn't been any like deal formalized yet. Like these are all like skeletons of plans. We're still waiting for
Well, I
something.
mean, that's better than nothing. You just talked about how, with the border, right? You just talked about how, they just slapped the thing on there, and then, we haven't finished the
Oh no. He's the kind of guy who would support concepts of plans.
job. Well, at least we got something started before. It was just continuous bleeding. Would you agree that getting some kind of start is better than no start at all?
No, because we're starting 1,000 feet
no.
behind the starting line because Trump started by tariffing the entire planet for no reason.
Yeah, because they've been taking advantage of the great United
They
States.
haven't been taking advantage of us.
Yeah,
Our economy is
absolutely.
destroying the rest of the world.
They're not. Just bring up Australia. Australia has we have a trade surplus with Australia, right? We have a trade surplus with Australia. And yeah, it would make sense to impose fucking tariff on Australia. And yet at the same time Australia is also being collectively punished. Why?
We're the biggest economy on the planet.
Yeah, exactly. So they should be paying for access to that.
Part of the
specifically.
reason why we're the biggest economy on the planet is because they don't have to pay for access. We have open and free trade.
Yeah, but listen, everybody wants to be a Walmart. That's great and all, but eventually Walmart has to up its cost if there's no kind of benefits to them making money. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right. Tariffs are only good when you want to protect a specific industry. Like typically tariffs can be useful if you're trying to like protect a specific industry in your country, because if it's cheaper to export or import from other countries a specific manufacturing product that your own country mainly makes, right? Of course you're going to be trying to decentivize people from importing that product because you want to promote like the only product that your own country makes. You're not gonna believe who's debating D at the moment. Cool.
Like it's
Part of the
capitalism.
reason why everybody wants to go to Walmart, though, is because everybody can go to Walmart. As soon as you start making it restrictive, you start putting tariffs, and other people start counter-tariffing you, nobody wants to go to your place.
Yeah, but whenever you have to pay all these different things with Walmart specifically, right? Like there's a reason why Walmart's closed down.
I will say that winter is swagged out, okay? Like at least winter looks good, okay? For the love of God, at least like I don't know, groom yourself. For the record, I think everybody groomed themselves before coming onto stage. Okay, Jesus.
Down in certain
Christ.
neighborhoods due to crime and theft because it becomes not profitable. Right now, we're running with the biggest deficit we've ever run, and it's time to make some changes. And specifically with ag and ranching, we're actually seeing benefits and changes that are benefiting ranchers, especially with the border control. It's helping to stop the screwworm infestation in Mexico from coming here. If that comes to Mexico, the beef industry collapses completely because of the small herds. I mean, why would we not want this kind of security? Why wouldn't we want these trade deals to benefit Americans?
We don't have any trade deals yet, so I can't really speak
What do
to
you
it.
mean we don't have trade deals? They're announcing trade deals all the time. Stuff is finalized.
Yeah,
it's
we're
part of the process.
always 2 weeks away from them.
No, that's convenient. I mean, it's not always 2 weeks away.
It is always 2 weeks away. That's why there's not a single trade deal. The UK
Well,
trade deal is not done yet.
I'm specifically citing the UK. They've already come back and said we're relaxing restrictions on American beef. We're going to match American. That's a change. That's like maybe it's not a formalized trade deal, but whenever it's accomplished a goal, that's basically essentially a trade deal in all but name.
Yeah, the name is important. That's why it's called a deal.
but if
Like if
you-
I were to tell you that like I have a mortgage on my house, like I'm good to go, like I've got everything done except the bank just hasn't like signed it yet. Well, that doesn't mean anything
Well,
then, right?
sure, but if I go buy a car cash, and I go in there and I'm like, hey, I want this jalopy, and they're like, hey, okay, cool, and I give them $2,000 or whatever, and they give me the car, and I don't have to sign anything except for the title. I mean, that's the same thing.
Yeah, but if they didn't give you the title, you wouldn't feel like you own the car, right?
I mean, maybe, depends
You
on
would give them all the cash, you drive out with the car,
Yeah,
you
but-
leave the title at the car dealership?
Yeah, but maybe if I get the car dealership, I mean, I would say if they're getting rid of the restrictions and I have the title, that's the same as the title. It's basically essentially the same.
Yeah, the reality of the situation is that Trump has just been horrible for trade in every respect. I don't know how anybody who likes free trade or thinks that trade is beneficial to the United States.
It's great to sit here and try to say, oh, we're pro-free trade, we're pro-capitalist, and that's like, you have this envision, this idea that all the people on the right are just these anarcho-capitalists, which isn't true. We want trade that's going to benefit us, and right now we've been taking
That's not true. the way the tariffs are doing, just stay on the tariff point, okay? If there's any point that people should stay on, it's the tariff point. It's also really easy to understand as well. Why the fuck would you tariff an island full of penguins? I'm kidding. No, that's a bad point, okay? I guess the point I'm trying to make is, why the fuck would you try to tariff like why the fuck would you try to tariff Australia, who you're in a trade surplus with, right? Like there's no point in doing any of that, right? Yeah. I mean, if you buy something, I heard this from the voice chat last night. If you buy something from Costco, right? Are you and you're in a trade deficit with Costco? Does that mean that like you're not benefiting from buying something from Costco? Like, isn't there like something beneficial from buying something from Costco? If you have a trade deficit with Costco, you as a person with Costco as an entity, right? Like a trade deficit isn't necessarily something that's wrong or incorrect, right?
advantage of, especially
Yeah, you're right. The penguins had it coming. Okay.
in the beef
Why do we think
industry.
we've been taken advantage of?
Well, because I know for a fact the reason we're losing
Oh,
beef,
man.
we've had beef cattle herds go further down, is
Sorry, I just had to send. Listen, I just had to send Destiny my most sincerest condolences for dealing with Wintermute. Okay.
because other countries have taken over our
Alright.
market under the Biden administration. We've had not been able to compete fairly at the international level. We have all sorts of border problems because we have all these different
Like, let's
diseases
just
come up into the cattle farm.
You think the beef failed under the
And
Biden
the corn
admin?
subsidies have been a
Why did,
problem.
how did Biden
I actually really dislike dealing with anybody who is like incredibly irony poisoned. I feel like irony poisoned is just a very virgin way to communicate. Okay. You should be more genuine pilled. Okay. Be genuine. Be a Giga Chad. Okay. Not the cowardly irony poisoned version. Okay. Not talking about anybody in particular, I'm sure. Okay.
make beef fail in a way that Trump didn't protect
Well,
in the
that's
first 4
easy.
years?
Well, one, Trump's already got rid of some of the subsidies, like the corn subsidies. He's cracked down on illegal immigration. So, you know, if you know anything about ranching, then 97% of the United States ranches are family owned. That's something that's very important to this. And when I look, well, there's a small percentage, maybe the top 5%, that have most of the
Giga Chad,
base
sincere
for
Giga
this production.
Chad,
And those
okay.
people are all feeding unfairly by using illegal immigration labor. And then whenever they get busted, they just use, oh, pay the fine and don't care. And with this bust, it's busted to help the mom and pop, which is 97% of the ranches, about the 80%. That's not these select 10%.
I don't understand. Wouldn't illegal immigrant labor help family farmers keep their costs more competitive so they make more money? Is
No,
that the whole
because,
reason they hire illegal
fuck,
immigrants?
because as a regular farmer, I can't go and afford, a regular rancher, I can't go and afford to pay the fine
is he-
that a
is-
massive
is
corporate-owned,
Gibbs
family
actually
corporate-owned
a
basically ranch
rancher?
can. They just pay the fine, hire new immigrants.
that
I can't do that. I have to go through the legal process. I have to hire legal people because they come and check us and come and get us if we do that.
Okay, but then all I'm saying is at the end of the day, this is going to end up raising your costs. So it feels like you're going to be less
No, it's going to
competitive
make
in
it
the global market
competitive.
anyway, no?
It's going to make it competitive costs. Like, if one person has an advantage the other has, that's not good at all. Isn't that what they all want to do with DEI? You want to get rid of a competitive advantage that a certain group has?
Okay, hold on. Just as a baseline, you acknowledge that like a tariff is a tax paid by an importer, right?
Yes, I understand that.
Okay, you know the trade deficit doesn't mean that we're being taken advantage of by another country, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's partially part of that, though.
Not how?
Because if you're sitting here having to compete in that unfair advantage, you're going to have to offset it some way in the trade deficit and all sorts of other deficits.
Wait, why is it an unfair? Maybe we just have more money.
Look, Gibbs is just a special boy. Okay, go easy on him. All right, he's been kicked in the head as a kid. Jesus Christ.
to spend.
Well, you have just more money to spend? I mean,
As a
let's go back to what I
farm,
was just talking about, though, real quick. You just asked why it would be fair to, like, you know, the regular guy versus the other. Okay, cool. If you can look at the tariff argument and say, okay, maybe these people pay more taxes, but if it eliminates the bigger net negative, which is like the illegal immigrants working for these ranches have a certain special advantage. that those ranches don't
Legendary!
have. Other
Oh
countries
my
don't have
God!
advantages when it comes
It's
to
a
production.
triple
Like, these are all
bypass.
benefits that we've gained since Trump has taken office that was on a steady decline
Yes.
under the last, like, 3 or 4
Give it to
presidents.
me.
Just when you say other countries are taking advantage of us because they can sell us things for cheap, I
Well,
think that's like a truism that's just given, but it doesn't really logically follow. Inflation is increasing again at a faster rate than it was before. Our trade deficit is exploding. Trump did absolutely nothing to bring it down. Now we're paying a whole new category of tax that we barely paid before, which is the tariffs. We're having to bail out our soybean farmers now because we just got cracked over the head with China and Venezuela. Like,
Wait, how many trade deals have we done ever since the tariffs? Does anybody know? Trade deals since the tariffs. Any trade deals? Like... Okay.
like the idea that there's all this
I can't find any, I guess.
help coming through because he closed the border,
Well,
although
I can
apparently
give you-
25 million illegals are already in here.
I'm
Like, I don't see
gonna
what the help
ask
is.
ChatGPT.
I'll give you an
Okay.
example, though, right? So this is kind of like bait and switch that the left seems to like to do, right? First of all, I go, oh, tariffs are all bad. And then I want to bring up other things like the trade deals, and you'll say, oh, they don't happen. But when I say, I go, oh, hey, look, the UK is now matching American standards. It's a little bit of a bait and switch because you go, oh, they haven't taken advantage of. Then I go and look at Europe, and I go look at Australia, and I go look at you know, the UK, and they have all these extra standards on beef that restricts us and doesn't allow us to sell over there in the markets. They're able to import over here, and we're not able to export there. That's an unfair advantage. You can say they're not reciprocal, but well, we don't even have an option to go in there and sell because they're sitting here excluding us. And they're like, oh, maybe it's technically.
Okay, we have a couple. We do have a couple, but it's nowhere close to the amount of countries there are in the in the world. There's one with the United Kingdom, another one with Japan, one with the European Union, one with Indonesia, one with the Philippines, and with Vietnam, China, and South Korea. But that's not. But didn't he apply tariffs on everyone?
Not a tariff, but the tariff is forcing them to react and change their policies at the local level, which benefits us here. So it's kind of like, it's not a direct one-to-one comparison. You know, I mean, I'm sure.
I think if I heard more conversation about like these particular standards, maybe I'd be more amenable to it. But the problem is Trump speaks so broadly, and then conservatives never actually detail any of these things. Like, it's okay for different markets to have different standards for
We have
different
no
things. That's
sign
fine,
deals,
right?
they're
What was the
handshake
FDA? There was some drug
Not
that they
all
didn't approve a
these
long
are
time ago that was approved in
official?
Europe. I wish I remember the
Wait.
name of it. Women would take it when they were pregnant and their babies were coming out like 7 arms or something. It was a bad drug that didn't get approved over here. It wasn't approved in Europe. But like, there are different standards in different countries for different things sometimes. Like the idea that somebody might have a different standard for beef, and then so we can't export to that market as much, at least not all of our beef. I don't know if that's necessarily inherently exploitative. It can. There are some standards like that that are be exploitative. But also, if Trump wanted to negotiate these, he said it.
No. There are 2 deals that are official. Japan is official. United Kingdom is official. The frameworks is European Union and Indonesia and Philippines, according to ChatGPT. Yeah.
himself. We have the largest, hottest economy in the world. Why do we have to start with a global tariff and then work from there?
It's because it's sending a message, and then these people come back and they make more fair deals. They get rid of the
They haven't made any deals yet, though.
They made all sorts of deals.
We
We've
have
got fair
zero
deals with
deals.
Panama. We got deals with the UK.
We have zero deals.
What are you saying? We have zero deals when they've been announced. We've had the prime minister.
Yes, we've had announcements. He's talked. That's all Trump can do is talk. You know, the deal we did have was the U.S. Mexico-Canada trade deal from Trump.
Sure.
He blew that up. So we have no deals.
Yeah,
Negative deals.
So, so that's interesting you bring that up. Do you disagree that, like, okay, things change with a period of time? So I've heard people on the left, like yourself, sit here and advocate that this is just a massive failure that Trump came out here to do. You just advocated earlier that, oh, hey, this guy, he's a
Oh, implementing the framework agreement. Yeah, that's not a deal. United Kingdom. Yes, parts are already in effect. Reduce U.S. tariffs on UK autos under a quota. Elimination of U.S. tariffs on certain UK aerospace parts. Came into force as of June 30, 2025. Based. Implementing the solutions for the problems that you've made. Oh, wow. That's just great.
A politician. He's going to adjust to what the people want. Trump's a politician. He's saying, "Oh, this deal failed. Let's adjust. Let's get something new in there. Let's do something else." Now he's trying the stick instead of the carrot. And it seems to be working.
It's not working though. Inflation is increasing. Our exports and import markets are hurt right now. The treasury yields are increasing. The world economy is losing faith in the United States. Like basically every conceivable metric, we're worse off than we were before. The budget is out of control. The one big beautiful bill massively. Our government is being shut down again. Like everything is failing. I don't know where all this
Well, I
success is coming
disagree.
from.
Like I said, I can point specifically to the beef industry as one of the industries that's growing. And this is kind of the misnomer I think y'all are talking about. We've been a service industry nation for a while now, and it looks like we're trying to move back to more of a manufacturing and production nation. And I think this is one of the major ones. If the beef industry fails, that's a national security crisis. You know, like first thing that happens if you lose your food supply, and that's going to be a bad
Cheeseburgers
thing.
are the only food supply in the
No,
United
I mean,
States.
you act like that's funny. That's a good one though. But here's the thing: like I used to be able to go get a thing of fajitas, some skirt steak, a couple pounds of it, 99 cents a pound. Now it's $14 a pound, right? And that's crazy and it's bad, and that's due to exactly because the Biden era policies under soy.
Shots, winter meat shows up? Yeah, tell me something I don't know.
Biden era policies under alfalfa, the Biden era policies under corn, all these subsidies made people switch, and all of a sudden now we didn't have feed, herd shrunk. We had these unfair deals with these other countries, and now, hey, if we have this screwworm infestation and have a porous border, which we know a porous border causes infestations of these screwworms and other kind of diseases into our beef market, if we don't have this secured, it's going to be bad. And under Biden, we didn't have any of that. And under Trump, we've secured it, just like the gentleman that just went before me said, and you agreed. So, like, how can you say this is a net bad for some of these industries when we're in a transitionary period?
Well, if we're transitioning backwards, I guess it's a net good if we're trying to regress economically and security-wise. But like, if you care about national security, Trump has been worse on national security in like almost every conceivable metric.
But you think going backwards into production and manufacturing is actually, you think that's going backwards, I guess is what you're
When
saying?
people speak derogatorily about like service-type economies and then they want to step back into manufacturing, that's a regression.
See, I disagree. I hear a lot of people, I guess they want to go backwards to a time where they had more money in their pocket. Like I hear all these people that were big union guys going, hey, I miss working at the factory, making $30 an hour. Why can't we get back to factories? I hear ranchers talk about, I remember in the 50s, which is crazy that they're talking about the 50s when they had larger herds, beef prices were way down. Even in the 90s, beef prices weren't as egregious as now, but they're still flying up, and it's because of all the bad lefty.
Well, we moved on from manufacturing jobs, right? I'm sure that we will always have a little bit of manufacturing in the United States. I'm sure that like people still coal mine technically, right? In the United States, people technically still do timber operations, I'm sure, right? But why the fuck would you do that when you have enough money to import or export products and then like you can manufacture shit, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. If that shirt could talk, it'd be screaming. Dude, his buttons are the strongest buttons I have ever seen, okay? The buttons are literally crying and screaming for mercy, okay? Yeah, whoever manufactured these buttons, okay, they deserve a tip, okay? Jesus Christ.
Policies were
That's fine, but like in the 1500s, if you knew the Pythagorean theorem, you were the smartest guy in your math class. Like
I mean,
times change. You can't just say
what does that have to do with anything?
Because going backwards to a manufacturing economy, that might have been good 50, 200 years ago when the entire world was doing like manufacturing. It was working that way. But you can't no economy. You can't give me a single example of an economy anywhere on the planet that regressed economically.
That's ludicrous to argue that you were the smartest person in the room because the paradox theory has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, which is
what is an economy that's
explosion
going
of
backwards from service to manufacturing? Like who are you jealous of economically? Who do you think does better than the United States? proudly.
could be doing better. I mean, China's exploding at one of the quickest rates. They're doing a lot
No,
of manufacturing. We're
China-
seeing a
What
lot
is,
of
China, what is China
No.
trying to expand the most into, though? What is Trump complaining? They steal our intellectual property. They have things like TikTok. They're expanding in green energy. They're expanding
Sure, they're
relations
doing
with
all
every
those
other country on the
things.
planet. They're expanding like all of their tech industry. They're not trying to do
Do you
more
think-
manufacturing.
do you
They're
think
trying to do
tech-
more service.
Do you think tech is only service, producing tech? I mean, right now we can't even make missiles. We can't even make phones. We're running out of supplies to sit here and get the rare
What are we
earth
talking? We
minerals.
can't make missiles.
Yeah, we don't have the
We
tech.
literally bombed like, Iranian
Sure.
nuclear plants, and they didn't even know.
Just by the way, I'm pretty sure China was falling behind still on United States. Like people thought that China was gonna overtake the United States in a close enough time, but they still haven't until Trump did the fucking tariff shit, right? Now they're in a way better position because they can indicate that yeah, when we make deals, at least we don't like renege on them, right? Because like look at the United States, they make deals with you and they break the deals, right? Why the fuck would we do that, right? Think about it, all right? We're a one-party state, make a trade agreement with us. How like just think about it. How hard do you have to fuck up for China to team up with Japan and Korea and all the other Asian countries that hate China? Like these countries worship the United States, okay? And super hate China. But how you made them team up with each other against the United States? How scuffed is that? Like how scuffed is that? Like it's unhinged.
About it until Trump went on
Yeah,
the
that's
media and
what
made
we
an
already
announcement
had.
about it.
We already had those.
Okay, so we can bomb things. I think we're doing okay there.
You disagree with the Biden administration, the reason why they put forth the CHIPS Act in the first place, then? So
Wait,
you're
no,
not
I think the
against your
CHIPS
party
Act is fine. I think there are certain things that we can incentivize here.
Oh, so then you are pro-manufacturing then?
I never said I was anti-manufacturing. What I took issue with was you attacking service.
I mean, okay. I mean, listen. We all saw COVID
True.
became the gig economy, became just service economy. That's bad. I mean, I don't know
Stop
anybody that
attacking
can sit here and just
service.
make a living wage off just working Uber or Uber Eats or DoorDash or anything. Nobody can live like that. They have to do this. They have to work the regular job and they have to work one of these in the side jobs.
By the way, I just want to say, like, there's nothing wrong with having DoorDash or Uber Eats as a part of your economy, right? If you want to have it a part of your economy, maybe that's actually a good thing. Like, don't you feel like it's better to live in a world where food is being delivered to you rather than live in a world where you have to go out and fetch the food yourself, right? Like, isn't the world easier with Amazon Prime? Like, why the fuck would you ever, like, I don't know, manufacture your own fucking table rather than order, like, something from IKEA or Amazon Prime, right? Makes no sense to me. Well, like, why would you go back to it? It just makes no sense. It's just far better to have deliveries and deliverers and mailmen, right? Like, it's just so much better to have these service-based, like, jobs, right? Yeah, and if people want to pay a premium for them, then make them pay a premium, because after all, it's a premium, right? It's a luxury service to have food being delivered to your door, right? But yeah, I don't know.
Them sit here and get by. If we could return to manufacturing, people can work their 9 to 5s, 40 hours a week, and get back to only having to work
It's
40
You
hours a
good
week.
thing,
acknowledge
it's
that
not
those
a
jobs are
bad
never
thing.
coming back like that, right? Like
Some
every
of
time
them
you say
can.
that, you're selling a lie to
They're
people. That
only
will
coming-
never, ever be
they're
the
never
case. You can put a door on a car.
And even if you want these jobs to come back, Trump is not helping. He's like shutting down more factories. No, hold on, let me see. Oh my God.
And make a living wage doing that. That will never be the case in any part of the world.
I mean, how are you intending that we're going to automate, say, something like ranching? There's no way you can automate ranching. What are they going to have?
Farming uses more like automation and advanced machinery. Like, do you think that people that do agriculture like go out with their scythes and
Well,
chop the
plows?
crops?
I think as somebody that's done agriculture my entire life,
Like if someone is using oxen to like pull a fucking plow. Oh my God. How many manufacturing jobs did Trump bring back in 2025?
I mean, I feel like I have a pretty good idea. I don't think there's any robot that can go out there and kill snakes currently to keep my cattle from being poisoned. I don't think there's a robot right now that can go kill a mountain lion or a coyote that's eating a calf. No, I don't think there's going to be a robot that can build my fence for me currently. No, I'm sorry.
The White House claims that in February 2025, there was a gang of 10,000 manufacturing jobs, but that was from the White House. According also from the White House, aka just Trump, okay? 9,000 manufacturing jobs were created, but there's a counterclaim that says, since April 2025, after the Liberation Day tariff announcement, there has been a net loss of about 42,000 manufacturing jobs. I'm just, why? Just, like, these are, like, literally the basic facts, no? Like, net loss of manufacturing jobs in the U.S. economy. As of August this year, according to CBS News, 12.7 million Americans were employed in manufacturing, while the industry lost 87,000 jobs in 2024. Oh, that's 2024. What about 2025? By the way, that's normal, just FYI, okay? Because manufacturing is being phased out. That downward trend has continued into 2025, with the sector losing roughly 78,000 jobs over the year through August, according to the Bureau. There you go. Okay, yeah. USA
There's just no way you can sit here and automate that. Maybe at a feedlot, but that's the second tier part of the production when it comes
Hold
to
on,
ranching.
so I can understand it. You're saying that the process of building a fence today is the same as it was 50 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's not my experience on any of this.
I mean,
But
the only difference is maybe the post hole digger, so we can do it
What
faster. I
is
mean,
he
even then, that's still
saying?
something that's been around 30 years.
okay, when it comes to
Still in
manufacturing
2025,
things,
alright.
there's never going
That's
to be a
crazy.
world where we have like the old like the Detroits, like the car manufacturing plants, where like an ordinary person can do kind of like
What about aerospace? What about, just like we were talking about chips manufacturing,
even aerospace. I mean, look, you're not. These are all like robot automated jobs.
Shipbuilding, that's another one we need. China's outbeating us in shipbuilding. There's all these different industries that are definitely going to be having to be built here if we build the tariffs, and it is transitory. And I
You, you think that we're going to go back to a world where you've got people that are manually putting these things together, making a living wage doing it? We're going to be competitive with the rest of the world on this?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think we're going to be able to be more competitive because lately with the service economy, what do we make? We make nothing. And when you make nothing, you're worth nothing.
What do you mean by you make nothing?
I mean, if you're just a service industry, if you're only able to sit here, say you're a waiter at a restaurant, right? That's service industry. You would agree with that?
Dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like people also consider like
Sure,
programmers
so-
like service.
Sure,
like,
yeah, there's gonna be a lot. Let's say you're a waiter at a restaurant, for example, right? The only way you have to sit here and serve that burger, that $8 burger you were talking about, is if someone's able to make the beef, to get the beef there, and then they produce it, they like manufacture it, they feed it, all this good stuff, butcher it. You have to have all these different lines in the line of production in order for the service industry to work. And what you're proposing is, let's just kill the beef industry. We don't need that going forward. We're gonna
Shoot
sit here
them
and just
layers
import this
all,
beef,
then
and then, if we ever have any kind of trade problems with these
By the way, okay, if you've seen machines rolling through farms detecting weeds and shooting them with lasers, what do you like? Who do you think writes the program? Who do you think maintains the code? Who do you think writes the integration? Who do you think writes the driver for the program to happen in the first place?
Truly, this is the
The
dankest
dentist
dungeon.
Velvet, thank you so much for the. Listen, you'll always be one of the boys, okay? You might be a girl, but you're one of the boys. All right, Velvet, thank you so much for the one gifted kick sub. I appreciate that, guys. Please like the stream, okay, and donate if you're able to. Your information is not private on Streamlabs. Thank you.
people and they cut it off, suddenly now the service worker's out of job. because
Like,
they
who
can't
do you
get
think
beef
is
for
writing
their-
that?
Like Microsoft is like a nothing company.
I mean, you think Microsoft is a service company, or do you think they're a production company? Because they're both.
What do you mean by what do you consider production?
I mean, they're building computers. Do you think they're building computers? They build
Does
software.
Microsoft build computers?
I mean, they used to. I mean, I'm not sure if they do. I'm
Pretty
thinking
sure they have Azure, they're like servers and stuff that you can rent space out of, but this is like service electronic stuff, and they do like software, or like Amazon, AWS,
I mean,
like
they call
software. Like, you think
software.
it's like fake stuff?
Right, so that's Google and Amazon. Google and Amazon have cloud space that you can rent from. And therefore, anybody who tries to operate these and use these for their own company are called cloud engineers. I was once a cloud engineer, okay? You're welcome.
I guess software will be service, but I mean, just because you have that doesn't mean you don't need HP building it, or like Texas Instruments building TI-83s, or Texas Instruments building computers, or I
Sure,
mean,
but
all
it's
sorts of companies.
Like,
like
is there an
Dell.
example of any other country on the planet that has
Cloud
gone back
backend,
to,
okay.
or whose economy that you think we should emulate, who's doing better than us, who does less service and more
Well, why
manufacturing?
would we want to emulate another country when we're the world leaders? I feel like we should lead the way and go back to manufacturing.
Do you see what you just said? We should lead the way and go back?
Yeah,
Like, that
exactly.
doesn't
Because
compute
what's
to me.
going on right now is not working.
Well, what's going on was we were dominating the entire world economy. We came out of COVID stronger and better than every other economy on the
Since
planet.
when?
Since what do you mean? Since when? Since
I
when?
mean, it's arguably the whole reason why someone, I think Mr. Pangburn over here brought up Hassan earlier as a joke. I mean, Hassan's always talked about multipolarity. I mean, if anything, the multipolarity people are getting stronger because we're sitting here not doing manufacturing. We're the weakest we've been in 200 years almost.
My mission
Our
is to
manufacturing
make
has
all
increased. The
watchers
output of manufacturing in the US has
subscribers.
increased like pretty
Aw.
solidly.
In what
Thank
industries? Like a few
you.
like specific ones? Well,
You're
major
such a nice
industries.
man.
Like
I mean, we
Hassan.
probably don't manufacture the same things anymore, but we do like end stage manufacturing better than most other countries on the planet. But we'd rather be making like the widget monster than making the widgets.
Well, you yourself just brought up at the beginning of this conversation the soy industry, right? The soy, how it got devastated by some of Trump's policies, okay? And then how there's having all these problems. Well, that's manufacturing that's gone backwards. You didn't seem to have a problem when something like soy was doing well, but now that ranching's doing well, now it's a problem.
Why would it be a problem if they're doing well?
wasn't
My
doing
issue
well.
is that conservatives, for some reason, you guys view everything on the planet as like some zero-sum game where the only way to make gains is to destroy some other part of
So Winter's done, right? Did Winter lose? Did he win? Like, what happened?
the economy or to destroy some other part of the world in order to have some piece of the pie for themselves. But like you can talk
Well,
about these
you
things like
got-
manufacturing is being destroyed. Why did Elon Musk start Tesla and start SpaceX? Why did he start it in the United States if our manufacturing is so horrible? And when he did start that in the US, it's not like did he put together a bunch of blue collar workers in the Uber factories to build the rockets?
I can't speak to
Lol.
Elon Musk and why he wants to be a patriot and build jobs here in
Just
America or
lol.
return us to space. I don't know all that, but I'll tell you this. When I'm sitting here seeing people sitting here complaining about, the soy industry collapsing, or I've seen other industries popped up, like the corn industry popped up by subsidies, while, the beef industry like languishes and rots.
I think if you really have to be technical about it, Wintermute is not just a commie. Wintermute is like, I think you can make an argument that he's MAGA. I really do think so. Like, even though he's a communist, he's like red fascist, right? And he's like pretty damn racist and pretty damn like phobic, everything phobic, right? He's pretty much just a Nazi, okay? He believes in accelerationism, right? And in order to like achieve accelerationism, you have to like practically you have to go and vote MAGA, right? Kind of, right? No? Yeah. Winter had to one up Fire. Oh, I mean, then Winter has to go and debate Lonerbox next, right? NASPO. Yeah, but NASPO are just pretty much just Nazis to me at this point. Yeah, I just don't really care about that. Like, or the distinction at this point. Because I know what the distinction is. I know the distinction between all of these words. But I think that practically speaking, there is no use in trying to distinguish them from one another, really. Yeah. When Foodshops sends her orbiter, she's not sending her best. Yeah, don't worry. I made an apology to Steven, okay?
On the vine, I sit here and go back to what I said in the beginning. I think it's not that Republicans think it's a zero-sum game. I think it's that we sit here and look and we go, we vote local, right? Whenever I'm having my fences damaged by coyotes coming across, bringing people illegally, or I'm having people sit here getting unfair advantages because they could pay, have illegal workers to pay the fine, hire new people, and I'm having things like the other countries sit here have unfair regulations that we can't compete with while we have tariffs on our beef or numbers. I think it's pretty clear that the left, for the last 20 years at least, hasn't cared about this, people like me. And so when I go and vote, I don't know, it's kind of like a big FU all of a sudden when we're doing good and everybody else is like, oh no, it's so bad. And it's like,
I mean, you can say that, but like the reality is on every single issue you listed, Trump has failed, will continue to fail, and by the end of his term will have failed on every single one of those issues. Costs are increasing for everything. Tariffs are hurting every single consumer, disproportionately middle class and worse. The budget is going to spiral. What?
Stock market's at all-time highs, hitting record highs.
I'm sorry, stock market. What happened to voting local? You think the stock market
but
the
I
average
go back to
person?
local. Beef prices, like I said,
stock market's at all-time high under
high.
Biden. Would you say that Biden had a great economy?
Yeah, the highest under Biden is like the highest under Biden is the lowest it's been under Trump. So I guess
yes. Welcome to the stock market. It goes up.
Yeah, I mean, no, it doesn't. What do you mean? We have crashes all the time.
Yeah, and then it goes up. The last 3 or 4 years
Sure,
of Obama's presidency was all-time highs before Trump came in, and then Trump was all-time highs, and then COVID happened, and then Biden was all-time highs. And guess what? By the end of Trump's term, it'll be all-time highs. And guess what? After the next president, it'll also be all-time highs. That's how the stock market works.
Yeah, but whenever we talk about inflation, we can go look at like average costs going in the right. Like right now with beef, like I said, it's gonna take 2 years for things to like level out and the cost to be passed on to consumers and it go down. But if we continue under the same policies, the beef prices are just gonna keep flying up. As soon as it's gonna be $30 for your $8 burger at the rate it's going. We're at an all-time high for beef prices. Yeah, it's great for a seller's market, but it's really bad for everybody else. And so when I'm sitting here looking at what you're saying, yeah, gas right now where I'm at, it's like $2.30, right? I'm sure it's higher in some places like California. Why don't we look at where it's higher and where it's lower? And it's clear that the places with more regulation are way, way higher. So
at the end of Trump's term, when inflation is higher than it should be, when costs are higher than they should be, are we still going to blame Biden for that? Because inflation is higher now. It's coming higher and higher and hotter and hotter than it should have been. The Fed is going to have to, unfortunately, they're going to have to lower rates now because inflation is not only inflation increasing, unemployment is increasing too. Like on every economic indicator we have, every market indicator we have is looking worse and worse.
Hold on, you're sitting there saying unemployment is up. Yeah, well, cool. That's great and all, maybe. But it's also the same when I look at this. I heard, unemployment's great for all these people. And then you find out, well, they included all these people that work like 18 hours a week as employed and whatnot. Like, that's ridiculous. That's not employment.
Well, that's not how unemployment is calculated.
Yeah, it was under one of the things.
No,
that's why under Biden, they keep having to revise the job reports. We figured out their lie. And there's
just
no trust from the left right now. Y'all lied about his health. Y'all lied about jobs reports repeatedly. We know for a fact
there's no trust from the left because Trump himself will openly lie about everything.
This is something I can look like. I'm not even a super huge pro-MAGA guy. I'm like a Texas Republican. We don't trust big government. And then when I sit here and I look and I sit here and you go, oh yeah, Trump's lied about everything. And I see the stuff he's done. And then I go, oh, it's the highest jobs they've ever been. And then I go, oh, okay, well look, let's see. Why did they just sit here and cut out 100,000 jobs from the last Biden report? Or why did they cut 300,000? And every time the Biden jobs report came out, it was cut under Trump. We haven't seen those things. We've seen very small corrections, if at all. And so,
I mean, if what I read was true, right? According to USA Today, there has been a loss of 75,000 manufacturing jobs since the beginning of the Trump presidency for 2025. That's a net loss, by the way. This is not talking about like how much jobs were gained. It's a net loss. So yeah, like again, I just don't see any manufacturing jobs coming back. It's just not happening. That's not actually the case that's going on. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to convince people who don't believe statistics, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to square that.
it looks like, yeah, maybe it's slower, but it's also not inflated fake numbers the way that you're sitting here pertaining, putting out there.
So you believe the numbers under Trump, but you don't believe the numbers under Biden?
I'm just saying it from the same agencies,
you believe the numbers under Trump, but you don't believe the numbers under Biden?
No, what I'm saying, well, hold on, the Biden numbers under Biden that I'm quoting are the same numbers that came out. First, he put one out for the jobs report, and then several times, each time under Biden, those jobs reports got revised. Do you disagree with that?
Yeah, job report revisions are pretty common, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and when they're substantial, and you go all the whole time, hey, buddy, this is the highest jobs we've ever had, and then, 3 months later, a provision comes out, and it's, 1 million people lower, or 300,000 lower, and it's not the highest. Well, that's a lie. Would you agree? You just said it's exaggerating, it's a lie.
So I don't think the revisions were as drastic under Biden. I think one of the reasons for a lot of the revisions under Trump is because Trump has done a lot of self-inflicted harm on the economy that nobody was expecting, and the markets have had to adjust for. For instance, the global tariffs that were completely brainless that have done nothing but damage to the United States economy and reputation abroad.
So wait, just to be clear, you're saying that exaggerating the numbers under Biden is different than Trump exaggerating.
I think they're exaggerating when they do the prospective job numbers. They collect it from the consensus, and then they get the later report. I know learning about how the data works is frustrating. That's why Trump wants to fire guys.
No, it's not. I mean, it is frustrating. Whenever you're the average American, I run up several businesses. It's not very hard for me to sit here and go, oh, I did this. If I go to my investors and I tell them, hey, guess what? Oh, our numbers are actually 300% lower than what I actually told you in 3 months ago. Like, yeah, that's going to be outrageous. Or at least, we made $300,000 less this month than we actually told you we made. But now that we've done revisions, they're going to go, that's a lie, and they're going to want to pull funds. Like, so whenever you're sitting here going, oh, it's not the same. It's frustrating on numbers. Yeah, it is frustrating to the average Americans who are like wise to this game now. Like, I just don't understand how you can sit here and say it's not an exaggeration or whatever that's
because they do revisions because the first numbers they get are different than after they verify them on the second batch. They're pulled from different. I think one comes from some census related thing, the other comes from some final jobs reports related thing from companies. I don't know exactly how they calculate it, but there are always adjustments. There have always been revisions.
Yeah, sure, but that's a lie, especially when you sit here and you run on, oh, we had the best jobs ever, and then you're gonna sit here running the Trump
because under Biden the job economy was very hot. Yes.
No, fake news. And when we sit here, I want to talk about what you just said. You said here and said, hey, we're gonna sit here and get the inflation rate was the highest it's ever been. Well, I can't remember a government government in recent memory that didn't have inflation rates go up. But if he slows the inflation rate, and it looks like it is drastically slowing,
It's not slowing.
It is
It's
slowing.
beating now. I think 2.9 was what it came in under. And it was supposed to be like 2.4, so it's increasing, which we would expect as the tariffs are increasing.
I mean, I
everything.
don't know. I'm seeing 2.4 from multiple sources regularly right now. That's what they're estimating going to be at the end of the year. So, you know, I don't know. I guess we have different sources on that one. But if they are 2.4 and if it did slow the growth, then hell yeah, that's exactly what we want, isn't it?
I mean, if the inflation is coming in hotter than we would expect it to, and it's coming in hotter for literally no reason besides the fact that Trump's adding cost to everything by tariffing the entire world for no reason, I think no, that's not what we want.
I mean,
an economic
hold on,
contraction for
you're
quarter one for
arguing
absolutely no
that
reason.
2.9% is bad. Whenever Biden came in, we had a 25% to 50% increase almost inflation.
Where was the
in some
Biden
areas.
inflation from?
What was the Biden inflation from?
Yeah.
It's terrible mismanagement in all these different industries.
What was the Biden inflation from?
Are you going to blame COVID? Is that what you're about to try to blame?
Don't we blame COVID for Trump's disastrous fourth year? Does it only work for Trump?
I mean, I'm not sitting here. I'm making claims based off what I'm seeing.
Wait, where do you think the
Trump
majority of the inflation happened due to under Biden's administration?
Yeah, I would argue that, you know, all the extra checks got sent out. I didn't even like it when Trump sent out checks. But whenever they're sending out all these checks, yeah, that's going to drastically inflate things. Whenever you have people sending out, you know, all these different checks going out, no one has to work, and you can just go spend money like play money. Of course, the prices of inflation is going to go up. Do you disagree?
So we had COVID was a huge thing, right? We had to do some kind of stimulus for the economy. And then we saw the Ukraine war break out, which did a lot for shipping and prices of stuff globally as well for a bit, right? So he had to deal with those two things. For the most part, by the end of his term, inflation was, I think it was sub 3 points. When Trump came in, everything was running fine. We had an economic contraction in quarter one for no reason.
I mean,
and now we've had inflation starting to tick upwards again for no reason.
If we look historically throughout history, at all the different countries, every time we've had like a giant inflation increase, look at like 1920s Germany, right? Or even Venezuela now, what do? They do stimulus packages, and they kept sending out tons of extra cash, all these stimulus bonuses, all this money. They flood the market. All of a sudden, you know, about a year later, 6 months later, suddenly that money's not worth anything because inflation's through the roof. That's exactly what happened under Biden. And, you know,
Really?
Trump's
Under
slowed
Biden, the USD wasn't worth anything?
Yeah, it's gone way down. You disagreeing that the U.S. dollar?
The only thing that was damaging faith in the US dollar was Trump's crazy tariff plan.
No, that's not true.
It's
The
absolutely
U.S. dollar's been on the decline for like 15, 20 years.
Absolutely not. You can see the USD to Euro comparison. Like Trump has been destroying the USD with his insane.
That's not true at all. I just don't know where you're
You
getting
can look at
your
the treasury yields increasing because some other people, Japan and Canada, were possibly looking at offloading U.S. treasuries. You can look at the fact that you want to talk about a deficit or increasing U.S. dollars again. Trump's first term, all he did were tax cuts. He didn't pair it with any spending cuts. Massive deficits. Look at the one big beautiful bill. Massive deficits. All Trump does is print money like crazy.
You know,
for no reason too. He did it for no reason. There's no crisis right now for these 4 years.
No,
Why
I
is he
disagree.
printing?
I think the economy is in great shape and getting better, especially when I look at things like luxury goods.
So do you support deficit spending?
Do I support
Do you
what?
support massive deficit spending to increase the economy?
It depends, not generally.
It depends on what. If it's a Republican or a Democrat in office?
I mean, sure, I guess, but not really. No, it depends on it. Like, for example, I'll give you one that I'm not a huge fan of. I don't like Trump's gun laws as a Texan, right? So I'm not just to sit here die hard. I'm going to die on the hill. I don't think
What
it's a
is
big beautiful
gun
bill.
laws
I'm sure that's what
supposed
you're
to
referring to. I think that was too much. You know, I'm not a huge fan of that. So now I'm not going to sit here and die on that hill for some of these things. However, I do think whenever he's sitting here and he's accomplishing things in multiple industries that are improving things for us, I think maybe we should give him a chance. We've done things one way for the last, I don't know, 16 of the last 20 years, you know, have been done one way. And now, you know, we're getting a change and it's benefiting some people that haven't been benefiting for a while. And all of a sudden, oh, that's a problem. And that's kind of what I keep coming back to. You're saying it's a zero-sum game on our side. When I'm saying it looks like it's a zero-sum game on your side because y'all hate seeing anybody else win.
When you say try something different over the past 20, 30 years, what I've seen is Republicans destroying the economy, Democrats coming in and having to try to rebuild, and then Republicans coming in and trying to...
Wait, well, how come did the general public, whenever time they're polled, say they trust Republicans more with the economy than Democrats?
Because the general Republic is...
Wasn't Trump the original person that actually like unironically said that whenever the Democrats come in, they improve the economy, and then whenever the Republicans come in, the economy begins to fail. I'm pretty sure it was Trump himself that said that, by the way. It wasn't just some Democrat or something. It was Trump himself that said that whenever the Democrats are in office, it seems like the economy improves. And then whenever the Republicans are in office, the economy fucking fails. Oh. Good stuff.
Oh, so we're just better at marketing in that case?
Yeah, conservatives, all they do is market. They like when they've invested.
So, I mean, if all they do is market, then that's people who are in charge of the
What did
economy.
Obama come in after? He came in after the 2008 housing crisis. Was that the Democrats' fault? No, that was a deregulation thing. That was a repeal of Glass-Steagall. That was a repeal of all the mortgage regulations. That was a Republican-run drive-up, right? Where did all the massive spending come from under Bush? It was for foreign wars. What did Biden come in under? He came under horrible COVID mismanagement, Trump having no leadership guidance over the country.
I mean, Bush had his own economic win before the housing crisis. He was doing good. You know, we could bash the wars, but, you know, military-industrial complex spending was up, stock was through the roof, oil production was up. You know, there was benefits there in some of those regards, but, yeah.
Where is this? We can find it together, okay? Like friends.
I've been now around long. You know, I think of myself as a young guy, but I'm not so young anymore. And I've been around for a long time. And it just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans. Now, it shouldn't be that way. But if you go back, I mean, it just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats.
Well, it certainly did well under Clinton.
Well,
but I wouldn't suggest it was so great under Jimmy Carter.
That's true. That's
if
true.
you remember,
That's
the interest rates...
No, I know. It's Jimmy Carter was not in the same thing. But certainly we had some very good economies under Democrats as well as Republicans. But we've had some pretty bad disaster under the Republicans.
Yikes! Okay, sorry.
I mean, the housing bubble, that wasn't good. You know, I didn't like that. The banking crisis under Obama, that also wasn't good. You know, I feel like these are massive
The
crises.
banking crisis under Obama?
Yeah.
You mean under Bush?
No, the bad guys underneath it. Wasn't it Bush?
The bailouts, that was because of the
Yeah, I didn't
mortgage
like that
stuff
either.
under-
Either one. Bush was
But these
bad.
were Republican-led disasters that a Democrat has to come in and clean up under, and then still get the economy moving again. Biden had to do it again after Trump, and now we're going to have to do it again after this Trump.
You keep saying get the economy moving again when it's like clear that some people are getting left in the dust. There's a reason why, for example, I keep coming back to beef, is so high right now, and it's because of the Democrat policies like grain and corn subsidies, where it switched people going away from the stuff that would usually generally go to beef. All of a sudden now you don't have the feed supply, and the only people that can survive are people like myself who are grass-fed ranchers, and all of a sudden you just take out a huge swath of an industry that was already hurting. And I can look at other industries like this, and it's just like, oh, well, hey, at least soy is good right now. What? Come on, man. That's not.
I think that animal agriculture exports are going to be down by the end of Trump's 4 years. I think that the access to other markets is poor. I think that the reciprocated tariffs now, the real ones, not the fake ones that Trump said were there before, are hurting exporters all across the United States. I think the weakening of our dollar is going to end up. I think there's going to be a lot of things that are going to hurt our ability to export to other markets.
Well, you look at China. Do you think would you call what we've done with China a general tariff, or would you call it a reciprocal? Whenever they came in at one rate and then we came back in at one rate, and all of a sudden they lowered it, we lowered it, we're still 15% higher, and they agreed to it. Would you not agree that that's a win in our book? I mean, just look how much money the
Everything
tariffs
about
brought
Trump's
in.
trade has been a loss so far. Everybody
That's not
agrees.
true at all.
His whole administration realized it. He realized
Partially
it.
due to the tariffs. We've actually, what was it, the last 2 months have reported a surplus specifically due to the tariffs? I mean, do you not agree that's a good thing? Aren't happy that the government's making a surplus?
You're saying that it's a good thing that we've taxed Americans more on imports?
We're not taxing Americans. We're taxing overseas people.
I thought we agreed earlier that a tariff is an import tax.
Yeah, and we're incentivizing production here at home. Instead of having
You know
to import
what?
foreign
When Donald
beef.
Trump said he could shoot somebody on 5th Street or whatever, and his audience will support him, I maybe would have believed that. If Donald Trump would have said, I could find a way to tax working and middle-class Americans more, and they'll believe me and they'll champion it, I would have never believed that. I can't believe people are defending the concept of raising money.
This guy's actually retarded. Now you know how I feel whenever I watch a wake panel with him on it, okay? Now you understand my suffering. Do you understand my suffering now? What I have to go through every single time I watch a wake panel? Yeah, that's right. At least I get paid for it, though. That's my
Money via what is honestly like a Democrat dream of having like a type of like an import tax, right? Like, oh my God, we're going to tariff everybody, make all the
But it's not
this way.
import- it's
And it's not even that big of a dollar amount that he's raising compared to all the other money he's lost via the insane tax cuts on the one big beautiful bill. So it's not even a wash with all of his other horrible
But
fiscal
do you
policies.
disagree that by taxing foreign products such as foreign beef or foreign manufactured goods, whatever those may be, that's not going to incentivize people to buy those goods locally, as opposed because you're saying, oh, it's a tax. Well, it's going to incentivize local people to build and produce and expand their operations, and that's going to allow them to have more production here. So,
It incentivizes local production, but at the cost of local consumers. It means that you're also
But
going
in
to
the short term, in the long term, it's going to be better off because
why would you assume that in the long term we can outcompete every single economy in the world on every
Does
single
it cost
type of
money
good?
to ship stuff from one country to another? Yeah, absolutely. If we cut that out because it's produced right here in America, you mean of course the cost.
So
is
you
going to
think
go
in
down
the
long term.
U.S. we can outcompete every single country on the planet on every single good?
I mean, it depends. Probably, yeah. I trust in America's production
I
capability.
don't even know
You
what
were
to
just
say.
saying we lead the way in
Nobody serious
technology.
believes that. That's impossible. It
so-
won't happen.
I can't tell if conservatives are lying or not when they say this retarded shit about tariffs being paid by overseas manufacturers. It literally makes zero sense. You can find the answer in 5 seconds on Google. Well, the problem is that people don't Google. What they have are media apparatuses and networks that they are already used to and they have as a part of their routine. Just like how people watch me, right? Regularly. If they were actually Googling things, I bet 100% all of them would have way better information, way better facts, okay? But instead, all they watch is fucking Fox News and Newsmax and and fucking alternative news media networks as a part of their daily routine. So every single day when you watch this, when you watch this shit, every single day, yeah, you're gonna be fucking brain rotted as fuck. You're gonna be swallowing the biggest fucking copiums of your life, right? You're gonna be living in a completely different alternate universe that's not even close to the universe that we are living in, right? Because you've been you've been swallowing it every day, right? You've been taking it in every day. You're completely brain rotted. Yeah.
So what is it? What is it? Is it that we're the leaders in technology and all this service stuff, or we can be the leaders in production and we can actually lead the world in this? We are the current leaders, or are you saying no, that we're not actually the leaders that you're saying we're number one in?
No, we are the leaders when it comes to end stage assembly and technology and service and software. This is the stuff that we lead the world in. These are the envies of the world when it comes to production.
Well, so look at HEB, and we mentioned Walmart earlier. Why is HEB the fastest growing grocer in the United States? Well, the reason why is because they have taken every step out of the way. They own their cod farms out in Alaska. They own their lobster farms in Maine. They own their beef production facilities here in the United States. They sit here and they work when they go overseas for coffee. They own the coffee production, right? It's all built within their system, and they are eliminating the middlemen, and that's led to lower costs, even despite the tariffs, because guess what? They're an American company producing the goods here. I can point to numerous examples.
By the way, I'm pretty sure the only reason, this is just me throwing a guess out here, okay, an educated guess. I bet that the only reason why a lot of American companies are able to manufacture services at a much more higher rate is just simply because we take in a lot of imports. It isn't the fact that we are creating things here. It's because we are importing things at a much cheaper price, right, than it takes to manufacture the entire supply chain. We are building. We're building. We don't have to build them. We just have to import the product, and then we use that in order to in order to speed up the service economy, right? For example, and I'll give a really good example, actually. we import a lot of material from China. China builds our fucking computers sometimes. So like a lot of the time, right? So if we're using computers to like if a company has an entire engineering division and they're using computers to program some amazing fucking piece of antivirus software, right, that everybody around the world uses, right, the computers are made from China, right? They're made from China. You import these fucking computers from China, all right, from their fucking factories and sweatshops, right? So then you can program the service-based economy that you've always wanted, right? So then you can program the AI-based security systems that you've always wanted to implement. By the way, that's where AI is like used like usefully, actually, without just like fucking ham-fisting it in. But yeah, AI is used to improve cybersecurity, right? Because they recognize patterns easier and stuff, right? But yeah, it's I just don't know why. Like, yeah, it's just so stupid. There's no way these like programming companies are able to are able to develop these fucking programs if they don't have enough computers coming in. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, if you have these computers that are like made in the United States, because you have to make all of these things that like I don't know, it's just so fucking stupid. It's so retarded. I'm sorry. I don't even know, like, you can't even begin to combat this because it's so stupid. But you know, see, Toyota cars assembled in the US, but parts are shipped from all over the world. Yeah, probably because we have the machinery and the people with specialty, like, and special knowledge in order to assemble Toyota parts, right? But of course, the hunks of metal are going to come from other countries. You're not going to build the hunks of metal from scratch. How, like, do you even have enough land mass for the manufacturing supply chain for every single product that has ever existed? I really doubt it. Okay, I really, really doubt it. I don't even think we have the population for that. Like, what are you fucking talking about? God, these people are so stupid. Fuck these people. Sorry.
Of this. That's what the Walmart model was. You know, and I'm sitting here looking at this and I say, oh, you're saying this can't happen. And I'm saying I see businesses internalizing and excluding the overseas people all the time and benefiting. And you're saying, no, that can't happen. Well, why is it already happening then?
It's not happening to a large extent. There was a reason why
the fastest growing grocer in the United States isn't at like a quick percent isn't like a good example. What do you mean?
What, do you think that the whole world is looking at Taiwan because Taiwan makes like the best car doors?
No, it's because they make the chips. But why? If we were sitting here,
which is an end stage advancement. It's not because they're mining silicon. It's not because they're out in the coal mines. It's not because
how big is Taiwan?
They're pretty small.
Small, right? Like, okay, so I said I'm from Texas, right? Imagine if we just took all the counties that were the same size as Taiwan and started building facilities there, which they're already doing. Like, I don't see like how we can't produce these in-game things like you're saying as well.
Because we don't want to build that. We want to do steel.
What, steel? I mean, sure, American steel is better than Chinese steel. Like,
if it's so much better, then why do Americans buy Chinese steel?
Well, you know, if we put the tariffs on them, we can build it.
Wait, isn't it literally the case that American cars suck? Like, cars that are made in America fucking suck? That's why everyone likes Toyota and Honda? Isn't that the whole reason why? Like, we're not even the best at manufacturing. Like, we have a long way to go if we want to beat other manufacturers at their own fucking craft, right? Like, what... like, what do we have? Hold on. What are some American car brands? Like, not even Teslas are more durable than the average fucking Toyota Camry 2006 American car brands. Oh, Jeep, Ford. Okay, Jeep and Ford are pretty good, okay? To be fair. Jeep and Ford are pretty good. Chevrolet, I don't know about Chevrolet. Tesla?
Cheaper rate and faster here.
It won't happen. I don't know what to say.
You're just saying it won't happen, and I'm giving you examples.
Jeep and Ford are awful? Really? Okay, never mind then. Okay.
Examples of when it is happening. Like,
we don't have the people. We don't have the physical.
We don't have the people. What do you mean? We could. Aren't you the ones? Y'all the ones sitting here saying, "Oh, hey, you know, we need all these illegal aliens for all these jobs because Americans won't do them." You know, I'm seeing poultry farms, like butchering facilities. They're hiring Americans now after they've cleared out all these legal. So it looks like we do have the people, and it's just kind of like inconvenient truth to you.
I don't know how there's, like, if I were to ask you for an example, you would be able to give me a single one. If I were to ask you for, like, there's just no world where we can outcompete the entire world.
I mean, yeah, I can give you
no
an
economy does it.
I can give you an example right now. C&J Farms in Texas.
That's not a country.
Oh, country. Oh, now we got to change it from like companies to
I'm asking about a country that tries to do everything. Some economies, like, in some ways, like, Germany has issues getting trapped in, like, a manufacturing economy where they can't make...
like Oklahoma. So which, I mean, that's a bad
I'm just saying that you can't make everything. There's a concept called comparative advantages. Some people do some things better than other people. Some economies are geared more towards the production of certain goods or services than other economies. If our unemployment is sub 5% and Donald Trump is obsessed with kicking a whole bunch of people out of the country, where are we expecting to invent all these people to take place of all these other things that we're importing from other countries? We just don't have the people for it.
If we have a massive unemployment rate, then why
we don't have a massive unemployment rate?
Yeah, it seems like we have a lot of people unemployed or working on the gig economy. We have to work 2 part-time jobs.
I don't know what it seems like. I can't talk about it. It seems
I
like
mean,
I can only
Oh, you know what? Tesla is also a contradiction to this. Do you know why it's a contradiction? It's because Tesla isn't the average manufacturing, like, product, right? Like, they are trying to head electric car technology, right? That is not the average manufacturing company product that people are thinking of. Trying to implement electric chargers across the United States, like, it's like a manufacture. It's like a super duper end stage manufacturing, like, related thing, right? something like trying to head electric car manufacturing, like technically it is manufacturing, but what goes into Teslas, right? Programs, coding programs, right? Like fucking battery software, drivers for the car, right? Programs go into Tesla. There's a bunch of software updates for Teslas, right? The car battery itself is like has a program shit on it. I don't fucking know. Yeah, it's not the same as like the average like fucking manufacturer kind of like thing in the first place, right? It's manufacturing with a significant side of service economy. Yeah.
Like official
Again,
reported numbers.
listen, it's pretty simple. When we go and look, we do have. You were just saying unemployment is climbing. If we're going to get rid of illegal aliens, like Trump is trying to do, or stopping the flow of immigration, why wouldn't these people suddenly that are here not be getting hired? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer that you're going to hire here if you can't hire from overseas.
When I say unemployment is climbing, I mean it's getting like back up to, and then it's going to go north of 5%. Not we're at 30%, so we can open every single new shop in the United States that we were importing from every other country.
I mean, hold on. Are you saying all these people that are sitting here working on welfare, living on welfare, they're sitting here?
I don't think there are that many people that are sitting here while they're not working.
What? There's all sorts of people working on welfare that don't have full-time jobs. Unemployment, there's like, they get unemployment and whatnot. They don't go work. You literally have to go in there and just show that you apply for jobs just to get it. I remember when I was in college, I knew tons of friends sitting here living basically off unemployment, and they would just extend it for 6 months, and then they would go and get a job for like 1 or 2 months, and then they would do it again. Like, you can't tell me this is happening when I've seen it regularly my whole life. Like, I know tons of people. Like, I grew up poor. Like, I saw this. This is what happens. And then when you're sitting here,
Teslas are pretty well manufactured. I don't know about that. I don't think that's the case. I think the regular Teslas are well manufactured, but when they tried to push out Cybertrucks, they had to do a Cybertruck recall, right? Because they were falling apart middle of the road. I'm pretty sure somebody made a video of them pulling apart a Cybertruck with their fucking bare hands, like no tools required, because it was so like poorly put together. But yeah.
going, oh, it's not happening. It's not
I
believable.
can't speak to what you see. I live in Miami Beach. I see a bunch of people in swimsuits all the time. I'm not going to go to Alaska and expect to see the same thing. It doesn't make it. Like, I'm just saying that, like, in 1 year, what are you looking for to see if everything is going as you would hope it's going in 1 year?
I'm looking at traceable data. Like, and this is why I brought up I came in here specifically talking about the beef industry. It's something I'm familiar with the data, right? When you're sitting here going, oh,
well, no, so I'm just asking you. Don't worry about what I'm saying. I'm just asking you in 1 year. So, like, if the export total of beef has decreased, would you say that a Trump failure, or are we just not adjusted yet?
Say that again?
If our total like animal agriculture exports have decreased, would you consider that like a failure, or?
Well, they are going to decrease over the next 2 years due to gestation rates, but then they're definitely going to be primed to increase due to how the cattle production.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
So cows, it takes about 2 years to get them from pre-production to the feeding lots and feed facilities before they can even be processed. So right now, based off with cattle, it's really easy one to track. I can sit here and track based off where cows are in their production cycle nationwide. I can tell you within their reproduction cycle at what exact
Wait,
year.
you're telling me that in cow manufacturing, they don't stagger the gestation? They all of them gestated the same cycle?
No, that's not what I'm saying. They do stagger it, so I can tell you exactly how long it's going to take based off economic indicators. That's why I'm saying within 3 years, we're going to see our first growths in herds since the 1950s. So when I'm sitting here saying, oh, hey, I've seen exact production, exact changes that are benefiting Americans, like with ranching, I can sit here and point to an exact data point. And this is why when you're sitting here saying, oh, the stats for this, and I'm arguing over the stats, and we're sitting here arguing over definitions, or arguing over like, hey, how much unemployment is. I go, hey, well, there's good liars, bad liars, and statistics. That's kind of what you're doing right here. And I think it's kind of like not really being honest whenever I can look at something like ranching, and I can point to an exact data set that's going to change based off, hey, established principles and established economic conditions. And with cattle, for example, I know exactly it's going to take 3 years based off of the changes that have happened in the 6 months. And it's very simple. And so there's not going to be a change unless something crazy happens.
I
guess we'll see right 1 year, but I mean, like right now, like for CPI and stuff, like the cost of a basket of goods, everything has gone up except eggs that came down because of the whatever egg price went. But everything else has gone up in terms of average cost. Like housing prices are still going up, cost of education is still going up. Now we're paying import tax on everything we get from other countries. Maybe in a year the cow gestation will save us because of all the beef agriculture, maybe. But it just looks like every indicator right now is bad. We're always 2 weeks away from any actual trade deal from other countries, even though we keep saying things. And now we're having to spend a bunch of money on soybean farmers because Venezuela and China are screwing us because we don't know how to manage any of our trade policy.
So let me just ask you this, because you keep saying we're 2 weeks away from trade. If, say, no trade deal signed, but they suddenly match our standards, is that not a net benefit?
It should be like enunciated in a trade deal. I don't know if I would consider that a benefit because it could change at any time.
Okay, so wait, hold on. Like, every country has the right to govern themselves, right?
Kind of. It depends what you mean by that.
So, like, I mean, whoever's in charge of the country, whether it's a dictator, whether it's a democracy, whether it's a republic, whether it's whatever, they're somebody at a governing body that makes the rules, right?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. And so then, if they have a governing body that makes the rules, they can change those rules at any given time, correct?
No, that's not how that works.
Oh, yeah, it seems like it. I mean, because
wait, are you a free person who can do what they want with their time, assuming you're not breaking the law?
Sure, but
you can say that. But what if we sign a contract? That's why you have contracts, so that you can hold people to deals, so that they're enforcing them in the future. I wouldn't want to be on a friend deal with a country for something as important as trade, because you yourself said it. Like a lot of these industries have to ramp up and ramp down.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're in business, then you know there's such a thing as a good faith gesture, right? If I'm going into business with somebody for like, I don't know, credit card processing, right? And I go in there and I'm like, hey, I'm going to give you the, I don't know, POS machine for free, and and you're going to sit here and you're going to get this rate, and I give you the POS system, and I give you a trial period before you have to sign it. You would agree that's indicating that you're going to be going along with the deals that we're going to be making, correct?
You would never sign a contract on good, or you would never operate on good faith like that. I think you would always want something.
I mean, but this is international diplomacy, though. Like, this is different.
Well, no, if you want to talk about diplomacy, America's lost all good faith with the tariff war. We destroyed that.
No. These countries have been taking advantage for a while.
They haven't been taking advantage of us.
Yes, they are. Like, you're sitting here, we're acting like, okay, I mean, they absolutely have. Whenever they have standards that exclude us from a market, how do you think that's not taking advantage of us?
I thought you just said countries have the right to regulate their own country
Well,
and
that's
decide
my
what
point.
they want to import.
You're sitting sitting here saying that, oh, hey, you have to be a contract. You know, at least when I see somebody put in an office in another country and they're sitting here trying to make strides and change regulations at the local level.
If you think that there are unfair things like that, why didn't Trump just go out and negotiate that?
I mean, that's what he's doing.
No, that's not what he's doing. He tariffed
I mean, how long do you think a deal takes to make? They take months.
Apparently, a lot longer than Trump thought, because he said we'd have 100 deals in 100 days, and so far we have 0.
I mean, it seems like a lot of these people have been coming and dealing with him. To me, I don't
Doesn't
know.
seem like that to me. Again, we're past 100 days, we have 0 deals. Where are all of the trade deals? They're nowhere.
They're all over the place.
They're
We got
nowhere.
Panama, we got the UK, we got the EU
They're
deal
not
going
materialized yet. We have
through.
like
We
there's
got the
tariffs.
tariffs. China are higher than they've ever been, while theirs are like equal to what they were before. Like
They're not equal to what they were before.
And we have
People
a surplus from the tariffs as well.
We don't have a surplus. We're still in a massive
Well,
economic
no, we
deficit.
don't have a surplus.
Just checking in, guys.
Yeah,
We have about 5 minutes left there, Mr. Beef. Gibbs.
Yeah, you go.
I'm
Beef,
sorry,
it's
I had to. Is there anything you wanted to touch on with Destiny for maybe 5 more minutes?
No, I mean, I did want to say I thought this was kind of interesting. Y'all were just talking about the political violence thing, and you know, I was making sure I brought my helmet and checked out upstairs before I came out here. But you know, I think that you know, I'm glad you said that. Honestly, I think that it's
I hate
motivated
this subject.
people on the conservative side to go out and talk, and I encourage you to do more of these bits. You know, I will give you much credit for going and talking to people, because I know that it's a
Oh,
lot
never
of
mind.
people will just
Okay,
comment. They don't you know, want to put their money where their mouth is. I mean, do you think that the heightened environment
Okay.
overall is going to be
Complimenting.
something that continues, or do you think that this recent violent activities are going to be a shock thing that are going to make people go away?
I think it'll continue until President Trump tells everybody to calm down.
Do you think that people will like even listen to him? I mean, I don't.
He got everybody to ignore the Epstein files. I think he'll get everybody to tone the violence down.
Motherfucker, he told everybody to retreat during January 6th. Okay, I don't even know how the fuck they even got that order. Was somebody on the fucking phone looking at Twitter when they were raiding the fucking Capitol building? Were they in the middle of a fucking were they in the middle of a fucking like Rambo rush or something like that? And then somebody was looking at Twitter, checking Twitter on their phone because they're bored of the entire thing, and that's how they knew to back down? Like, motherfucker, like, January 6th was canceled. It was successful because they got Mike Pence delayed the vote. But then it was canceled because Trump was the one to tell everyone to get off their backs. So, like, right? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, man. This stuff is rough, okay? Listen. Oh, no! No! No, come on. Whoa! Okay, thank God. Sorry.
Wanted to, yeah. But I think he likes it. I think conservatives kind of enjoy the environment.
They enjoy them. I mean, I don't think so. Every time I've ever heard someone do something on like conservatives, like say a conservative kill somebody, everybody on the conservative side, yeah, that was terrible. Put him in the meat chipper, you know, the wood chipper, right? You know, I've never heard anybody sitting there like glorifying, except for like maybe like I don't know, the Klan or somebody, which is not representative.
Well, I mean, if it's one of theirs, they memory hole it. They never talk about it. If it's a left-wing person, then of course they go crazy about it.
What do you mean? They talk about the Timothy McVeigh all the time and say how terrible he was.
This is decades ago, right?
Sure,
Who was the what was the one?
Railgun, go.
Was it Abbott who pardoned the guy who killed the? Oh God, was it a
I mean,
BLM
it's-
protester?
I
I
love
think
my
like you had
railgun.
Trump pardoning all the J6ers. He thought that violence was epic. You had
I mean, the January 6th one seems kind of controversial now with all the FBI stuff coming out. But I mean, like,
well, nothing came out to be clear.
I mean, sure, that's fair. We can argue about that later. But I'm saying, like, specifically, whenever I'm looking and I talk about this ticky-tack word game BS, I just saw the other day that, the Pulse Split nightclub shooter is considered a right-wing violence. And I'm just like, this guy represents the right wing. Like, I don't know about that one. I feel like there's been a dishonest framing. And I don't think that Trump coming out and saying everybody needs to calm down is actually going to do anything. I think that's dishonest as well. Like, they actually believe that.
Well, then no one on the left saying anything shouldn't do anything either, right? If literally none of our speech matters at all. I don't understand how crazy it is that I don't understand how you can say that. You don't believe that. There's no way you believe what you just said. You don't think Donald Trump making a statement that everybody should calm down. You think that would have no impact on the environment whatsoever.
I mean, maybe some. I don't think that. I think that it's going to be like kind of turned against them. It's just like whenever he was like with the Proud Boys or whatever. He's like, calm down, stand by, whatever. Some people interpret it as, oh, he's going to have his own private army.
Like, to be very clear, okay, I'm glad that he brought up the Proud Boys, because what happened was that that was not a de-escalation, right? That was a very prompt escalation, because he equivocated the two and then told them to stand back and stand by. That's not a de-escalation. That's telling them to get ready for January 6th. Then when January 6th rolls along, right, what did they do? They, in fact, did stand by, right? They did, in fact, stand by, right? That was the entire point of January 6th, right? The entire point of January 6th is that it was the apex of the Proud Boys plan, right? That they have formed because Trump was the one encouraging them to do so. Trump was the one, like, instigating stochastic terrorism for January 6th, right? And he gets to play dumb about it, saying, like, oh, yeah, it's actually the Democrats' fault. Well, no, he actually wants that to happen, right? He likes the fact that there's a bunch of Proud Boys who are willing to do anything for him, right? He loves that idea. So, yeah, let's not pretend that it's not... Yeah, let's not pretend that it wasn't... And yeah, exactly. And then they got fucking pardoned for it. Exactly, right? Yeah, so let's not pretend that this is not exactly what Trump wants. Trump wants escalation. Like, because de-escalation is not beneficial for him. He doesn't actually benefit from de-escalation, right?
to most conservatives, like, he's like saying chill out. I feel like anything he does is going to be framed as
Yeah, but when he said that, everybody
capitulation.
understood it as like,
I
fucked
mean,
it
do you
up,
disagree
right?
that anything he says is going to be turned into like I don't know, some kind of meme? Like
No, I think
January-
it's very obvious. Like when you listen to Biden speak, it was obvious he wanted everybody to calm down. When Donald Trump said stand back and stand
Well,
by.
hold on, Biden said he wouldn't be upset if he got taken out one time. I mean, what do you mean? Like,
No, he did not say that. No.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. Not only did he not say that, but you can look at all of his actions and providing additional Secret Service members and increasing security for even his political opponents or reaching
Hold
out.
on, if they increase the security and put the C team on him and they get 2 people taking pot shots at him, I don't know if that's really increasing the security just because you throw more bodies, but you put like the B team out there.
I mean, he's doing what it's not like Biden himself is out there securing the
Well, no,
events.
nobody wants
But I'm
that.
saying as opposed to Biden is providing for additional security and Trump is trying to rescind Secret Service protections, additional ones from every single person he can. He's done that. And I mean, the way that Donald Trump talks about, he went on stage after Erica and was like, well, unlike Charlie Kirk, I hate all my political opponents. It's kind of unhinged to say.
Is it though? I mean, like I feel like there's a lot of hate. Like just coming on here, I got
Yeah,
hate
it comes
just
from
for-
him.
You get hate from all the people all the time. We all get hate. Like,
Yeah, but there's a
just
difference from the
because-
president saying it.
I mean, is there though? I mean, he's
How
one.
do you
That's
not
part
have
of
a
what
standard for the
people
president?
like about him is that he.
Yeah, is that he's hateful.
No, is that he's a regular person that you can talk to.
I don't want a
He's-
regular person. I
feel
want
like-
somebody who's better than a regular person. The president of the United States.
You say that, but I feel like the part of being the president is that anybody can be president. That's really the myth. Like the myth of the United States is like, hey, little Timmy can grow up and become the president.
Anybody can be president. Isn't the same thing as saying everybody can be president? If you're in a dire situation, you're not looking around and it's like, I got the 6'2" jack guy, I got the guy with all the military general experience, and I got the everyman. I want the ordinary dude to lead us to the zombie apocalypse. What do you mean?
So you're arguing for the elite oligarchy that runs the United States? That's crazy.
Well, no, if I was arguing for the elite oligarchy to run the United States, I would support Trump and Elon.
No,
So no, that's not what I'm arguing for. I'm saying that the president of the United States should have.
Anybody. If it can't be anybody, then you want someone specific that you think is special or like higher than the rest.
Do you think a
That's
mentally
elite
retarded person should be president?
Wait, say that again?
Do you think a mentally retarded person should be president?
Probably not. Yeah, okay. Maybe
Okay.
maybe
Should a
excluding
child
that.
rapist be president?
A what?
Child rapist be president?
No, I mean obviously not.
Foreign national, a Martian. So
Well,
not everybody should be
sure,
president,
sure.
right?
I mean,
We want
I'm
the best of
talking
the
about-
best,
okay,
right?
That's bad faith. I mean, you know that I'm talking about an average American citizen. I'm not sitting here talking about Tiny Tim from that the orphanage that's been dropped on his head 30 times. I don't think anybody thinks I'm saying that. Nobody's talking about Pedo Joe hanging out in the bathroom somewhere. Like nobody's talking about that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the average person that can grow up and come from any social class and become the American president. Yeah, I think
The
people
average
do.
person that come from any social class to be president.
Yeah,
And
I
your
think that's
example is
something
Donald Trump, the
No, I mean,
multimillionaire
it's not
real estate
that
mogul
one.
from New York
He's-
City.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's actually a point that I think you're making right here. It's a good one. Is that he's not in the political elite. He comes from the rich elite, and it's just this big step that we've got with somebody coming from just the economic class instead of this elite political class. I think it's a baby step in the right direction.
The guy that was at all the Clintons' weddings and was making daily trips to Epstein's Island was not
I mean,
part of the elite political class.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Now we're sitting here equating Epstein. I mean, listen, if the Epstein thing matters so much, the Dems would have nailed him with it when they had all the files, but they didn't do it because they knew he didn't have anything. And just like with Jillian Maxwell said he didn't have it, none of the fucking victims have said that he's got these
If we're going to run with that logic, then if the Republicans had anything on Comey or Barack Obama related to the FBI hunt, they would have released it in 2016 to 2020.
But the little Dem operatives that were already working, they've sit here and stopped them at every turn. We've seen that even just now. He's not cleared out all these people that are
There's
working
still a
against him.
deep state. There's still how deep does the state
I don't know
go?
about how there's a deep state. Those are your words, not mine. But I'm thinking
Those are not my words. Those are Trump's words. Those are the words of the Republican administration for the past 10
We
years.
could call it a deep state, but you and I both know that there's always people on each side in trenches whenever they get in charge, and those people that are perform holdovers from other administrations are working against it. If that's a deep state, so be it. But you can't deny that there are people that are in power right now that are working against his agenda when he pushed stuff forward. Yeah, I would argue that it's taken a while to get rid of some of those people, get people in place so that we can do some research on this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he can indefinitely blame whatever the deepest of the deep state, the deepest of the Loch swamp monster, whatever he wants to call it. But I mean, at the end of the day, going back to where we started here, just the idea that you would want the president to just be like an ordinary person that would succumb to his emotions, it betrays all of like U.S. history. Like nobody was like, oh, George Washington, he was like a normal soldier that just marched across the field and shot a dude and then went home. It was like he crossed the Delaware. He was an amazing man. He did crazy stuff. Like I feel like we generally want to advocate for our presidents to be like really exceptional men, not just ordinary people thrust into the limelight. We'll see how they respond, and it'll be like an epic episode of The Apprentice.
A lot of these people in history were regular people that got thrust in the limelight. You look at Andrew Jackson, he was just a regular soldier that moved his way up the ranks.
Yeah, they
you brought
rose
up
to the
George
occasion.
Washington. We can look at Ulysses S. Grant. We can look at tons of people. Abe Lincoln was just a random a hick from the backwoods that got really good at public speaking. And he came up the ranks. Like there's plenty of examples in history of these. Davy Crockett,
But these people made something of themselves and then were elected president. I mean, just all of this to go back even a step further. I would expect good conduct from the president of the United States.
I mean, hold on. Are you
I
saying?
can't believe this is controversial.
It's
because his behavior is indefensible.
We've had plenty of presidents that have said.
Should a lolly lover be president? A better lolly lover than Trump, who has like actual fucking rape charges and like sued civilly for rape, right? And fucking like probably does actually lust after underage girls, right? IRL underage girls. Yeah, better lolly lover. Yes.
Like, oh, we hate our enemies. Like,
No, we don't.
I mean, FDR was sitting here talking about the evils of Nazism and then communism.
Nazism?
Yeah.
What does it say about you if that's an offensive
No,
statement?
I'm not saying it's offensive. I'm not. Hold on. First of all, I'm saying that you say there's groups that they hate.
Yeah,
There's
the
all
Nazis
sorts
were an enemy of the
they're
United States
bad,
of
and the
America.
communists. We have
That was like a country
hold on,
that
what
was-
do we have presidents saying they hate the Russians back in the day? We have presidents saying
Those are
they hate all
enemies.
these are like. I mean, if these are their enemies, why wouldn't they say they hate them? I feel like
There's a difference between the enemies being foreign nationals versus like your domestic citizens.
Wait, hold on. We have domestic people that believe in all these things. You don't believe we should hate these people that have these evil beliefs. So you're pro.
It's all the same too,
Are
then.
you pro being friends with the Klan and be like, oh, we should never have the president say he hates the Klan? Or he
I
hates
just
the Nazis?
All
after
right,
this election, I'm just saying that from the same people who said that Obama saying Trayvon Martin looks like me to have that brain break, like half the conservative movement for indefinite periods of time, to come out and say, actually, I don't care at all what the president says. It's all epic and based. That's just astounding to me.
All right,
Oh,
that's,
here, give him the last word. Give him the last word. Give him the last word. We can have the last word.
I was just going to say that's 5 minutes, guys. No, we'll give you the last. We'll give you the last
go
word
ahead.
there, Mr. Gibbs.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, thanks for debating with me. Yeah, it was fun. And
Where can people come and debate you?
You can find me anywhere as Admiral Gibbs on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, all the good stuff. Thank you so much.
I think Admiral Gibbs averages around 40 concurrent viewers, but he's been doing this for years. I think he does this for fun, to be fair. Yeah, I think that Gibbs does do debating for fun. I don't think he's trying to make it into a career question mark. But yeah.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, hey, Counterpoint's a stream right now. Interesting.
Everyone show up at Debate Mr. Gibbs. Give him a round of applause. Thanks. Thank you so much. Okay, super quick because we got more debaters to get through here.
Military for the other
extra.
Woman in the military. That's what he's. Oh, he's debating. Oh, interesting.
Read all about it.
Maybe we'll watch that. Okay. Beltalowda. Belters for president. Fuck Martians. You're right. What is it? What is the accent for the Belters? Yeah, Beltalowda. Belters for president. Fuck Martians. There you go. Yeah, I fucking love Expanse. Yeah.
We are about to announce a massive debate in the UK for Destiny, Stephen Bonnell. We're very close to announcing it. This deal has been in the works for about 3 or 4 months now. So I just wanted to put it out there that everyone...
Is he debating Trump? Please tell me he's debating Trump. Please. That would be so fucking funny.
Just a drink. A martini, shaken, not stirred.
I missed this banger of a stream to work out, foods. I need to be fat and stay home all the time.
You're right. Thanks so much for the $5, Silver King. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Be on the lookout for a very big announcement coming in the DDG.
Stop! Why did he say DDG? Fuck me. Like, that's what the anti-fans say. DDG.
Destiny
like
World. And this is DGG. Wow. I suck.
Stop.
DGG, sorry.
Dude.
But yeah, we're going to be announcing something. Stephen's going to be coming overseas early in the new year. So look out for that announcement. Yeah, and that's it. We had someone just sign up from the audience to debate. So we're going to squeeze them in here. We're going to go this next debater, and then we'll go to you, Nathaniel, after that. So let's bring up Alex. Alex to the stage.
I'm going to go to the bathroom, okay? Be right back. Not fucking Wintermute kill me.